Hey guys, how are ya? Happy Sunday to everybody. So I've had this scheduled for a couple days, and what we're gonna do is go over the Maddie Soto case. Her accuser is going to be facing his trial and his day in front of the judge and a jury of his peers come July the 15th, unless they push it back. So if you're not familiar with Maddie Soto case, she was last seen on February 26th of 2024. Her body was found 5 days later in a wooded area less than an hour from her home. Her mother's boyfriend was arrested. Stephen Stern's phone also revealed some disgusting evidence of what had been doing to Madeline since she was at least 8 years old. And he's been charged with her murder and over 60 CSAM related charges and faces the death penalty if he is convicted. Everyone that I speak of is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Anything that I say is my opinion and under my own assumption. Anyone that speaks in the chat, they are voicing their own opinion. Do not take it as a fact. So we're going to go over and um, speak about Miss Maddie. And I'm not sure if I'm having some audio issue. Let me check here. I think I can turn it up here. Let's see. Let me see. How is that for everyone? Okay. Hindsight, do you hear? She just started. Okay. So, anyways, the case is going to be brought in front of the judge and a jury of his peers come July the 15th. Currently, what is happening is that the judge is reviewing what had happened when they retrieved the phone information, if it was done illegally or not. So we have not heard back from the judge. He hadn't gave himself to the end of this month to make a final decision on that information. So sometime here with first part of next week, we should be hearing from that judge. I'm hoping that the information that was found on Stephen Stern's phone is going to be viewed as, evidence, because it would be a sad situation if it wasn't. In my opinion, when you put in your passcode to your phone for the police to review it, you have now opened the door. And there was probable cause. From my observation, is he was the person that dropped Madeline off for school, and she wasn't found at school, never showed up, and so to me, he was the last person that had been with her. So, there's probable cause to search your phone, Mr. Stearns. And we're going to dig deep into that phone, Mr. Stearns. And everything found on that phone, Mr. Stearns, is going to be used against you in the court of law. All right. So let's go ahead. I have a handy dandy playlist, and we're going to go over factual information. I'm not really going to get into the theories and speculation with the mother and this and that because it's too close to the trial. And what I would like to do is just go over the information that we have from actual news media and go from there, because there's a lot of stuff that, a lot of opinions get put
Welcome back
out,
to
and it's
another
not
episode.
always factual information. So um, we're just gonna take it back to the very beginning and start from there. Hopefully, we can do this. Excuse me. Um, Before now and the 13th, right? We can get through it. So this is from our local news here in Orlando, and I will be traveling to the court and see if I can get in. And it is open to the public, and they also are going to let media in. If I find it more convenient to do it from home and not really getting good, I can't write it down very quick. Let me tell you, I'm not a court journalist. I don't do this, but I want to go to the court and not um, for any other reason but to stand beside Madeline for justice. You know what I'm saying? She's not here, obviously, but I would like to stand beside her and see justice be served. And I would also like to see the reaction of his parents. I'm assuming that they're going to go to court. I'm assuming they're going to walk in every day. And, I'm going to ask them questions if I have an opportunity to. How do you feel about your son being accused of CSAM? How do you feel about your son being potentially the death be upon him for the things? How do you feel about the CSAM? How can you stand beside him and say, no matter what you do, all those questions? Oh, yes. If I have an opportunity, do you not think I wouldn't ask him? Yes, I absolutely would. I wouldn't do it in a malicious way, but those are questions that the public would like to know. Your son has made a mess out of his life. He has done the unthinkable to a child. And believe me, if you are seen in public, questions will be asked. You can't expect anything less from the general public, in my opinion. No, anyways. Uh, all right. So let's go ahead and begin. Let me real quick say hi to people that are in the chat. I appreciate you guys coming over here. I know that there's probably a lot better place that you could be this evening on a Sunday evening. But I appreciate you coming here and taking time with me and all that. So hindsight 2020, it's always a pleasure to see you. CLK, always good to see you. Mama Bear, good to see you. Snark Attack, I think this upcoming is just the pictures. Yes, it's for the pictures. I think that's all that they're looking into. I'm confident from the hearing that the phone will be in. Court is crazy. Absolutely. Right? I'm telling you, I'm going to ask those questions if I ever have an opportunity. Taylor, thanks for coming in. I hadn't been to Taylor's channel for a long time because I've been so busy in my personal life that I hadn't had an opportunity to get there. So I made sure that I went over and checked because I don't get notifications all the time. So I owed her an apology because I hadn't checked in, and there was no other underlying reason, but I've just been very busy. And then after we share this, if you guys would like to know the experience with my dog, I will give you all the details. I can talk about it now. The other day I could not. I was absolutely crushed. Absolutely crushed. So instead of getting on here and sounding like a blubbering old lady, okay, with the heart broken, I decided, just to share a little video because a lot of people had contacted me, and I wanted to let you guys know that I appreciate everyone that reached out and everything. So, we'll speak about it after we speak about Maddie. So, all right, so here we go. Thank you guys so much, Benny, and we're gonna, do it on 1.25. If it's uncomfortable for you guys at 1.25, please let me know. I'll be more than happy to take it down to normal speed, and we can go from there. Okay. All right. Boy, they wait a long time. Okay.
Hello, Orange County Sheriff's Office.
Deputies go door to door in search of missing 13-year-old Madeline Soto.
Hi, have you seen this child?
No. She's been missing yesterday since 8:30 a.m. in the morning.
I have not seen her.
Less than a week later, authorities found Soto's body in these woods just outside St. Cloud. Investigators say the 13-year-old had been sexually molested and then strangled to death by her mother's boyfriend, Stephen Stearns. In this video series, we'll show you how law enforcement investigated the teenager's disappearance, and you'll see what prosecutors are doing to seek justice for Madeline.
Do you need police, fire, or medical?
Police, possibly. I'm reporting a missing child.
On February 26, deputies were called to this office near Soto's school, where a relative happens to work.
Hey there.
Hey there. What's going on?
So my daughter was dropped off close to school this morning, but never made it.
Here, they met Soto's mother, Jennifer, and Jennifer's boyfriend, Stephen Stearns.
Didn't make it to school.
Didn't make it to school. I went to pick her up from school today,
Okay.
and she never came out. I got an email from the school saying she was absent, but I also messaged her teacher, and he looked at her entire attendance today and saw that she was completely not at school today either.
Okay.
So she never made it.
The couple told deputies what Madeline had been wearing.
Green hoodie,
Green hoodie,
white Crocs.
white Crocs,
I got blue or black pants.
I think black shorts.
Black shorts?
Yeah.
black shorts. Okay. When was the last time you seen her? Do you know what time?
Around 8:30, 8:40 when we dropped her off.
Although you heard Stearns say we dropped her off, he and Jennifer Soto later told investigators that Stearns was by himself when he brought Madeline to school. Stearns says the 13-year-old was embarrassed of his car and wanted to be dropped off right here, a few blocks away from Hunters Creek Middle School and right across the street from a church.
So it's like around where these communities were,
Okay.
and it's just like in this section.
That night, Stearns showed deputies the spot where he says Madeline got out of his car, a silver Lincoln MKZ.
When I left her, she was on the other side of the street, rummaging through her backpack and just kind of moving towards the school area. So it looked normal.
It's gonna be hard to tell whether she went left or right.
A sheriff's K9 was brought out and given some of Madeline's clothing to sniff in hopes of tracking where she might have gone.
I don't know if she was trying to walk back home on her own or she was trying to go to her friend's house.
But after 15 minutes of searching, the K9 was unable to pick up Madeline's scent.
So weird. I'm gonna find people, bro. It's your job. Literally your only job. Finding people.
At the nearby church, a deputy viewed surveillance video that showed a girl being dropped off that morning.
Wait, there is a person getting out of the car.
Due to privacy laws, authorities have put a black box over the computer monitor so we cannot see the video ourselves. But detectives later showed it to Madeline's mother, Jennifer Soto.
I mean, the quality's terrible.
She could not say whether the video showed her daughter or Stearns' silver Lincoln.
Does that look familiar at all?
No.
You don't know that anywhere?
I don't know that.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
Detectives questioned Madeline's friends at Hunters Creek Middle School.
She had never told me about anything about her running away other than her saying if she were to run away, she'd go into the woods.
But they did not know where the 13-year-old might be.
What can I do for you?
We're here regarding a missing juvenile. She's been missing since a missing juvenile.
Deputies canvassing nearby neighborhoods could not find any witnesses.
Hello, have you seen this girl?
No.
Madeline celebrated her 13th birthday with relatives the night before she vanished. Her mom, Jennifer, was at work and did not attend the party, but says she caught up with Madeline at the condo they shared with Stearns.
So you last saw her Sunday night about what time?
It was 11 p.m. before she went to bed.
And you were here at home? Gotcha. And where did she go to bed? Was she in her room, your room, or something else?
We were all going to sleep together in the same bed, but I needed some good sleep. I got a new job recently. I haven't been well rested. I needed some sleep. So I asked, hey, can you guys go to the guest bedroom upstairs?
These crime scene photos show that guest bedroom, which has one bed in the corner and locks on the door. Stearns told police he and Madeline went to sleep here and then got up early the next morning for school.
Woke up around 7:15, somewhere around there, which is an early start for us, but we talked about getting McDonald's breakfast beforehand, so we wanted to make good time. We did make good time. We got out the door maybe 7:30, 7:45-ish maybe. Got over to that area. She was asleep in the car most of the time, just snoozing until we got there.
When they got to this McDonald's, Stearns told detectives that Madeline was no longer hungry. So he says he continued down the road to Hunters Creek Middle School, about a mile away from here. After dropping Madeline off at school, Stearns says he went to a vape shop across town and then back to the condo. Next on Justice for Madeline, we'll take you room by room inside that condo. You'll hear Jennifer Soto describe her family's sleeping arrangements, and we'll show you why detectives believe someone was secretly taking photographs underneath one of the bedroom doors.
Knowing he probably did, in my opinion. Hi, Music City Mom. I'm glad you stopped in. I was meaning to text you. I will upload a picture. My mom got her beautiful blanket. She said it smelled wonderful, by the way. And she also said that you wrote a very beautiful note, which she didn't read to me. So I guess it was between you and her. Whoa, excuse me. And she said she absolutely loved it. And so she sent me a picture of it. It's so pretty. What do you mean you're not good at crocheting, baby? I'll have to show you a few of my stitches. You'll be like, oh, Lord. Yes, it always smelled. Yeah, she said it smelled wonderful. So thank you so much. And she didn't read me the note, though. I feel like I'm out of the loop in life over here. No, it's okay. It's okay. Okay, well,
13-year-old Madeline Soto lived in this condominium with her mom, Jennifer. Her mom's boyfriend, Stephen Stearns, occasionally stayed here too. These photographs taken by crime scene investigators show the place where prosecutors say Stearns sexually molested the teen and then murdered her.
Very loving, very loving. This girl knows nothing but love here in this house. She hardly ever hears the word no.
she's doing okay, you know, best she can. She's doing all right, Cammie. Thank you so much for asking, too. She's doing okay.
That's where Dad is.
The condo here at Venetian Bay Villages in Kissimmee is owned by Madeline Soto's grandfather. Court records indicate he rented out rooms in his condo to Madeline's mother, as well as at least 2 other tenants. Prosecutors believe evidence found inside that condo will help them bring justice for Madeline. When you enter the condo, the kitchen is on the left. On the right is the living room. In the living room, behind that divider wall, was Madeline's makeshift bedroom, which had a desk, a dresser, and a TV. Although there's also a bed, Jennifer Soto told detectives her daughter would not spend the night here.
She'll hang out there during the day, but she never sleeps there. She always sleeps with me, and then the rare occasion upstairs. But most of the time, it's with me.
This is Jennifer Soto's bedroom, located on the first floor. Jennifer Soto told detectives she...
Okay, and that's where my questions as a mother starts to begin. Okay, this is where my questions start to begin. Why is your teenage daughter not wanting to sleep in her bed? Okay, if as a mom, I would have to ask, why are you not wanting your own independence? She's a teenager, becoming a young lady. They want their independence. They love their own space. It's almost to a point you gotta like, hey, I'm coming in. You know, are you clothed? You know, that kind of stuff. So as a mother, this is where my problem absolutely 100% begins with Miss Soto. I have some questions for you, and I'm going to tell you, if I see her, I'm going to ask you, why did you not let your daughter have her own independence and sleep by herself? If there was so much trauma there, would you not, as a mother, want to figure that out? I would dig so deep to find out, why is my daughter afraid to sleep by herself? Well, because in my opinion, no, well, oh, I'm just going to say, in my opinion, there's a monster in your house, in my opinion. Right? But my daughter, she was like, are you nuts? My daughter would be like, that would be my first sign that I mean, come on, people. You know? Exactly, Chad.
often shared the room with her daughter and her boyfriend.
A lot of times.
Absolutely. Absolutely. As a mother, I am not going, he's going to be, if my daughter has some problems and she needs someone to sleep with, she's sleeping with her mom. The boyfriend can get the couch, get a freaking sleeping bag, Bubba, and sleep somewhere, but you're not sleeping in here with my young daughter. I don't give a damn. No, 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 no.
We will sleep together in the king size bed, all 3 of us.
But Jennifer Soto says she would occasionally send her daughter upstairs to sleep in a guest bedroom with Stearns. That room has one bed in the corner and locks on the door. This is where Stearns reportedly spent the night with Madeline just before she was reported missing.
Is it normal for both of them to sleep in the same room? Sometimes. When I really need a good night's sleep, I will send them upstairs.
2 additional bedrooms.
When you're a mother, forget about getting a good night's sleep until your life's over. Because even when your kids are out of the house, you still don't get a good night's sleep for a long time. In their first apartment, did they lock the door? Did they turn off the stove? Do they have a candle lit? All those things go through your mind when your children become an adult and they move to their first apartment, their first condo, go to college, dorms. Okay, did they lock the door? Did they shut off the oven? Do they have a candle burning somewhere? You know what I'm saying? All those things go through your mind. You're not sleeping. So see, this is going to be a hard. You guys are probably going to see a real me come out, because this here, if you've raised children, you know, and they're grown adults now. Y'all know where I'm coming with this. Okay, no, baby, no.
Rented out by other tenants are also upstairs. Detectives say they found nude photographs of one of those tenants on Stearns' cell phone.
Right?
According to investigators, Stearns had placed his phone under the tenant's door, similar to this, and snapped images of the naked woman in her bedroom. Detectives say Stearns' phone also contained images of him sexually molesting Madeline. According to authorities, bedding from Madeline's makeshift room downstairs can be seen in the background of those molestation videos. Detectives say this pair of men's boxer shorts found in a laundry basket in Madeline's room also appear in the sex abuse images. Crime scene investigators collected this notebook, which has sexually explicit drawings that are sketched on the same paper.
Oh, okay. I'm going to, please. This is not a normal stream for me. It'll become normal as we go into the Maddie Soto. Okay. This is strong language, strong images, trigger warning. This is true crime Sunday. So please, if you cannot handle being in here and it triggers something, for you and you have a bad experience with hearing stuff like this, please you don't have to stay, okay? But true crime is real, raw, and gritty. And it is what this little girl had to live through. We cannot keep shoving stuff under the rug because it makes us uncomfortable. People need to see what's happening to these children. It is real and it's raw, and they have to live through it. And if you've been abused as a child, you know exactly what probably has went through her mind. So we have to stand up, not hide from it. We have to stand up for Maddie, and that's my purpose in doing this.
As algebra equations.
On Sunday night, y'all went to bed around 11, and the reason that you sent her upstairs with Stefan was because you had work in the morning, was it? Or you just started a new job?
I just started a new job and I haven't been sleeping well. I take psychiatric meds every night for my bipolar disorder, and if I don't take them the right way, eat, and go to sleep on time,
They don't work.
they don't. Sunday I was not myself, so I asked them, like, hey, I need to be medicated, I need to sleep. Can you take care of the morning duties so I can go and sleep?
According to investigators, Jennifer Soto sent a text message to Stearns at 11:39 that read, "Make sure she goes to bed right now." About a minute later, Stearns replied, "She's built her nest and she's settling in now."
What time did you wake up? I'm going to say around 8 o'clock in the morning. Stefan came into the room.
When Jennifer Soto woke up, she says she thought Madeline might still be in the condo.
I heard noises in the kitchen, but I'm not sure,
Not sure who it was exactly.
Yeah, it could have been any of the roommates.
Jennifer Soto told detectives she never actually saw Madeline that morning and assumed Stearns was taking her to school.
I had an appointment. I had a doctor's appointment at like 10:15, but they took a while. And then by the time they did my blood work and whatever, I think I got home somewhere between 11 and 11:15.
Okay. When you got back, was Stefan here?
I'm pretty sure he was, yeah.
Sadly, by then, detectives believed Madeline was already dead. But where was she and what happened to her? Before investigators could answer those questions, they discovered Stearns took a mysterious round-trip drive to Southwest Florida early in the morning. Next on Justice for Madeline, we'll show you where detectives say Stearns went that night and what investigators think he did there.
So I do have a little bit of a video to and look and watch what what they found in the home and all that. So let me share. Oh, here, I'm gonna share this. Play.
13-year-old Madeline Soto lived in this condominium with her mom, Jennifer. Her mom's boyfriend, Stefan Stearns, occasionally stayed here too. These photographs taken by crime scene investigators show the place where prosecutors say Stearns sexually molested the teen and then murdered her.
Very loving. Very loving. This girl knows nothing but love here in this house. She hardly ever hears the word no. Double-edged sword that is.
The condo here at Venetian Bay Villages and her boyfriend.
A lot of times we will sleep together in the king-size bed, all three of us.
But Jennifer Soto says she would occasionally use Stearns' cell phone. According to investigators, Stearns had placed his phone under the tenant's door, similar to this, and snapped images of the naked woman in her bedroom. Detectives say Stearns' phone also contained...
See, that right there messes me up. Okay, that right there, what he just did messes me up every time he says, I want, right? We were a happy family. We hardly ever said no. No, 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 no. I tell you no every day. I wouldn't be around you at all. Okay?
Hey, guys.
On February 28th, 2 days after Madeline Soto had been reported missing, her mom, Jennifer Soto, and Jennifer's boyfriend, Stefan Stearns, found themselves temporarily homeless. Deputies had sealed off the Kissimmee condo where they lived so investigators could photograph the potential crime scene. Detectives had also just seized Stearns' cell phone and his car, a silver Lincoln MKZ. Early that morning, the couple, along with Stefan Stearns' father, checked into this hotel near Disney. All three went to bed, but then, according to investigators, Stearns snuck out of the hotel and went on a mysterious mission. Detectives wanted to know where he went as they tried to seek justice for Madeline.
Do you think your son's capable of doing something like this? I know it's a hard question as a father.
Nothing would surprise me at this point. I don't know.
You're listening to the voice of Christopher Stearns, the father of Stefan Stearns.
What time did you get here last night?
3 a.m.
3 a.m.
Christopher Stearns says that he, his son, and Jennifer Soto arrived at the Town Place Suites at Flamingo Crossings and checked into 2 separate hotel rooms.
I brought my stuff up, went over and said goodnight, and then hit the sack.
About 2 hours later, at 4:42 in the morning, surveillance cameras captured Stephen Stearns leaving the hotel through the main entrance. Investigators believe he then climbed into Jennifer Soto's white Nissan Sentra and drove for more than 2 hours to the town of Northport, which is located between Sarasota and Fort Myers. Stearns
Right,
has
and on
occasionally
the
lived
map
in
here, I can share this. You can see, like, why did he go from Orlando all the way down to Northport? Why did he do that? Like, that's very interesting to me. Like, what was he doing and where did he go and why? Okay, why? That's a 2 hour and 17-minute from Orlando. 2 hour and 156 miles. All right. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
in Northport at his parents' home.
He waited until she went to sleep and snuck out. Not long after we all said goodnight.
Christopher Stearns told detectives he had no idea why his son would drive to Northport in the middle of the night while authorities were still searching for Madeline.
I don't know whether to say I'm flabbergasted or impressed at Stefan's endeavors.
Well,
he was, as far as I knew, he was going to pass out at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
It didn't take me long to crash and burn. And then to find out that he made this round trip to Northport.
Originally, police thought Stearns could have stopped by this storage facility in Northport
I mean,
where
I'm
his
not
dad
sure.
rents a unit. At the time, detectives believed the teen may be deceased and her body might be located in the storage unit. But when investigators searched the facility, nothing was found.
Why would he spend nearly 6 hours driving round trip to go to Northport to the storage unit?
Detectives think Stearns traveled to his parents' house that morning where his mother, Deborah, was home alone. She told police she never saw her son.
You know what stopped you from getting in the house? You didn't have a garage door opener.
While searching her son's bedroom here, Deborah Stearns told detectives she found a torso of a sex doll. According to investigators, she initially believed it to be real, prompting Stearns' mother to run outside and begin calling out Madeline's name. But police found no signs of the missing teen in Northport.
I don't know where he got the energy, but you're telling me he was down there at 7:45.
Still behind the wheel of his girlfriend's car, detectives say cameras captured video of Stearns heading towards the interstate and beginning the nearly 150-mile drive back to the Orlando area. When Stearns returned to the hotel at 10:55 a.m., he reportedly told his dad he'd gone out for a drive and gotten lost.
He spent a lifetime lying to us, and it's just never gotten better. And he fed me some the other day, and before I left the house the other night, I turned to my wife and I said, "Do we really know Stefan? Can we honestly say we really know?"
While detectives were interviewing Christopher Stearns, deputies took his son into custody on child sex charges. Investigators say they found images on Stearns' Google account that showed him molesting Madeline.
Your son has been arrested for sexual battery.
What?
Your son was arrested for sexual battery.
Detectives now believe Stearns gained access to a computer device while in Northport and tried logging into his Google account using his parents' Wi-Fi to delete the images and videos of his sexually abusing Madeline, but was unsuccessful. While investigating Stearns' Google account, detectives say they found evidence that someone did multiple searches for sevoflurane, an anesthetic that can put patients to sleep before surgery and can cause hypnosis and amnesia. Someone apparently wanted to know whether sevoflurane will show up in a drug test. Those Google searches were conducted less than 2 weeks before Madeline vanished.
The impression is that he loves out of her, and he was very upset one day when he was talking to
So
me.
a lot of people tend to forgot about that, his Google searches, okay? And what he was searching. That's not talked about a lot. At least I haven't heard. I'm not saying no one has talked about it or anything. I'm saying I haven't heard it being talked about. So I don't know if it came back when they did an autopsy of Madeline or not. I don't know. I don't remember that too much. Right? Where would he even get that? Right? Where would he even get that? Like, who do you know that has that? Right? Oh boy.
He was sobbing and blaming himself for her disappearance.
Weeks after his son's arrest, while Christopher Stearns was cleaning out his storage unit in Northport, he told authorities he found a box of his son's belongings that included 2 USB drives. Detectives say one of those USB drives contained over 35,000 images of child pornography. None of the images
35,000. 35,000. Sick. One is sick. This is just I don't even know.
were Madeline, according to police. Stephen Stearns was arrested for sexual battery 2 days after Madeline had been reported missing. Although investigators believe the 13-year-old was dead, they did not know where her body was hidden. Next on Justice for Madeline, we'll show you how detectives located the missing teen's body by tracing the movements of Stearns' silver Lincoln and Jennifer Soto's white Nissan. A police canine trained to detect the scent of dead bodies checks out a silver Lincoln MKZ belonging to Stephen Stearns, the last person to see 13-year-old Madeline Soto alive. The dog does not appear to notice anything unusual. The canine handler then brings the dog over to a white Nissan Sentra belonging to Soto's mother, Jennifer. According to investigators, the canine alerted to possible human remains near the rear passenger wheel well. Earlier that day, authorities arrested Stearns for sexually molesting Madeline. At that point, investigators believed she was likely dead, but they did not know where her body might be. So detectives used license plate readers, surveillance cameras, and other investigative tools trying to bring justice for Madeline.
What was she last seen wearing?
Green hoodie,
Green hoodie.
white Crocs.
White Crocs.
Stearns told investigators he and Madeline woke up in their Kissimmee condominium early that morning, climbed into his silver Lincoln, and headed off to school.
We made such a good time. We were so impressed. We made such a good time getting out the door. We were probably out by 7:30, 7:45.
But at that very same time, 7:30, detectives say surveillance cameras at the Venetian Bay Village's condo complex captured video of Stearns putting trash into a dumpster. Deputies later followed this trash collection truck to a sorting facility. In the trash, deputies say they found Madeline's backpack, her school laptop computer, and one white Croc. According to investigators, a matching white Croc was located in the bedroom of Madeline's mother.
She was asleep in the car most of the time, just snoozing until we got there.
Stearns told
right there's whenever it started to fall apart, amongst other things. But kids don't only go to school with one shoe.
detectives that Madeline was not awake during much of the drive from the condo to Hunters Creek Middle School, located about 6 miles away.
Do you remember what time you dropped her off?
I estimated it to be sometime between 8:20, 8:40.
But at about that very same time, 8:19 a.m., detectives say surveillance video shows Stearns and Madeline returning to the condominium complex through this security gate. The female appeared to be completely slumped over and with her mouth ajar, investigators wrote.
Or she was on that stuff he was looking up, you know, that sedative. Okay, I could see that. And I'll tell you, well, I don't know, dogs are the same way as humans when they are heavily sedated. Okay, and I just experienced it myself. When a dog is heavily sedated, they kind of lump over and their tongue hangs out of their mouth. So, I mean, could he have got a hold of that kind of stuff, you know, that he searched?
Believe she was dead.
I talked to him. He showed me his little clicker. And he's like, hey, man, I'm clicking. It's not working.
I got a clicker for him, buddy. Let me tell you that. Let me get a... Oh, boy.
This security guard says he opened the gate to allow Stearns back in.
Just remember there was a woman like sleeping beside him with a green shirt.
Did you see her move at all?
No.
Okay, she was just still.
Stearns never mentioned that he returned here to the condo until detectives confronted him about it. His explanation...
Could you imagine seeing something like that and then finding out, like, first you're like, what the hell is that about? And then oh my God, oh my word, oh Lord Jesus.
Contradicted that security guard who says Stearns had a gate clicker.
I had forgotten something. I had forgotten my gate clicker. I'm sorry. I forgot. I had gone back to the house real quick after we left because I forgot my gate clicker.
Did she go inside with you?
No, she was in the car still. She was asleep.
Where in the car?
Passenger side.
Stearns told investigators he left the condo again and took Madeline to school. But instead, it appears he came to this area around SeaWorld, miles away from her school. At 9:02 a.m., investigators say those traffic cameras up there captured video of Stearns driving through this intersection with Madeline's lifeless body.
So school had already started. So those cameras, let me tell you, criminals, the cameras on the stoplights will catch your raggedy ass every time. So keep acting stupid out here and we'll keep catching you. He was caught. The good police work, in my opinion.
At 9:35 a.m., cameras at an Orlando office building reportedly show the silver Lincoln entering this parking garage. According to a report, Stearns can be seen moving Madeline's body from the passenger seat to the trunk of his car, which was filled with other belongings. At 10:14 a.m., cameras capture the Lincoln returning to the condo again. Detectives asked Stearns why it took him nearly 2 hours to get back from Madeline's school.
Can you explain it? I wasn't going anywhere in particular. I wasn't doing anything in particular.
At 12:19 p.m., security video reportedly shows the silver Lincoln leaving the condo once more. Using images of the car from license plate readers and traffic cameras, investigators say they can prove the vehicle traveled east from Kissimmee along US 192 towards St. Cloud. According to detectives, the last documented sighting of the Lincoln was near Hickory.
So, in my opinion, looking at this map, he moved her, kept her in the vehicle, in the trunk, in my opinion, from my thinking pattern at this point, which is subject to change at any time, not a fact, opinion, that he kept her until after the 12 o'clock hour until he left and went down to this area where he had the flat, in my opinion.
Tree Road, where it turns south off 192. That just happens to be about 9 miles from the spot where investigators would later find Madeline's body.
I had a couple errands to run over on 192.
While driving to some stores in Kissimmee, Stearns says he got a flat tire, but he could not tell detectives exactly where he stopped to put on the spare.
I'm so sorry, I'm drawing a blank as any specific businesses or names.
These police photos show the rubber tire was completely shredded off the wheel. While changing the tire, Stearns says he injured his hand. That tire change.
Now, how many of you folks have a flat tire? I just had a flat tire on my golf cart, and I can tell you exactly where it happened. And it was on my golf cart. I can say, oh yeah, right. I can tell you right where it stopped. Okay, I could actually tell you right where it started to go flat, and then I was like, my husband's right over here, so I'm just gonna like do a whoop de woo and let him know, like, hey, I have a flat tire. Help, help. You know, over here, tow truck, need one. So I know exactly where my damn flat tire was. Now you're gonna sit here and tell me that you're gonna run the rim all the way down to the rim, and I don't even know. I don't even know where I was. I went a blank. I just went a blank. I don't even know. No, you might have went a blank because what have you just done? Okay, yeah, that might be true. You fool.
Delayed Stearns from returning home, he says, so he could not pick up Madeline after school. Instead, Jennifer Soto headed out alone to get her daughter.
I went to pick her up from school today, and she never came out.
Jennifer Soto reported her daughter's disappearance to law enforcement that evening, launching the missing child investigation. She and her boyfriend then returned home, but Stearns reportedly did not stick around.
Stefan went out sometime in the middle of the night and went searching, cruising around to see if he could figure out where she might be. What car was he driving? My car.
Detectives say they have images showing Jennifer Soto's white Nissan leaving the condo around 3 in the morning and then taking the exact same journey.
And he went back, same journey, all the way. You guys see right here on the map, same freaking journey. What did he do? We'll probably never actually know, but what a freaking creeper. What a freaking psycho, in my opinion.
Towards St. Cloud that Stearns reportedly made hours earlier. A police canine indicated the Nissan may have come in contact with a dead body at some point. Stearns denied knowing anything about a late-night trip in this car.
I don't recall us going anywhere last night.
No, I didn't go anywhere.
Honestly.
No, officer, I stayed right here, and we had Domino's pizza. We were just so upset we couldn't even cook. Stayed right here, took a hot bath, took some pills. Right? Oh, you nut.
At that point, my brain was mush and I was on so many tranquilizers.
4 days after Madeline's disappearance, Kissimmee police asked the community for help pinpointing where Stearns may have changed the tire of his silver Lincoln.
If anyone saw this vehicle or noticed anything suspicious, we're asking that they call Crime Line.
Hours after that news conference, a witness came forward claiming he saw a man who resembled Stearns changing a tire right here on Hickory Tree Road. Just a few feet from here, over that fence, and in those trees back there, investigators found the body of 13-year-old Madeline Soto. The medical examiner determined she had been strangled to death.
Stephen Stearns has been indicted by the grand jury on first-degree murder for the killing of Madeline Soto.
The state attorney's office interviewed Jennifer Soto after her daughter's body was recovered. She said she did not know Stearns had been molesting the 13-year-old and did not know how Madeline died.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Basically, you have two warrants, so I'll let you know what those.
That's well, wait, he had to put her, but wait a second, but he took her car that last time out there, or the second time. So he would have had to, not to be gruesome, but we're just going to talk how we need to talk here. He would have had to put her in the other car. So how would he have done that? He could have. I'm not saying it's not possible because the cars parked by each other, but that would have been taking a risk. But he's not, you know, you know, but that very well could have been.
Stearns, who faces the death penalty if convicted of killing Madeline, has pleaded not guilty to more than 60 criminal charges, including child pornography possession, sexual battery on a child, and first-degree murder. Stay with News 6 and clickorlando.com for future developments in this case as prosecutors seek justice for Madeline.
All right. Well, good afternoon. So thank you for being here.
2 days after Madeline Soto failed to show up at school, authorities held their first news conference.
This is every parent's worst nightmare.
That news conference was held here at the Orange County Sheriff's Central Operations Center. Now, unbeknownst to the reporters who were gathered inside,
I don't know everything, you know. So hey, someone said, little 15 said, let me go back here if I can. Oh, it shows him doing that, transferring her, or oh, that's all right. We don't trip over here. We try not to do it too often, but it's if mistakes happen, we're not bad. We're not mean people. So are you saying, little 15, that it was said that he did put her into Jennifer Soto's car? I didn't know if it shows him doing what. Because I don't recall the dogs hitting on her car, only his, but we could be wrong. But yeah, clarify what you're talking about.
Key witnesses were also in this building that day being questioned by detectives.
Would you like water? I'm okay for now, thank you. Okay.
In one room, Stephen Stearns. In a separate room, Madeline's mother, Jennifer Soto.
They're very similar. They're both very childish.
All three events took place at the very same time here as investigators sought justice for Madeline.
Anytime we have like a missing juvenile, we certainly look at everyone that
Kevin Fish said it on his channel. Got ya. Well, okay, it's a possibility. Like I said, it's not out of realm. I don't know that to be a fact or whatever, but anything's possible. You know, the first time went out there, like Cammie mentioned, it could have been looking at a place. Second time could have been, you know, disposing. So yes, plus we saw him driving out of the condo with Maddie. So you know, we don't know. We don't know. But you know, hey, I can't say it's not true.
has contact with that juvenile.
While Orange County Sheriff John Mina was speaking to reporters, Stearns voluntarily waited in this interrogation room, puffing on a vape pen and attempting to set up his brand new cell phone.
Hi, I'm Siri. Hi, I'm Siri. I'm Siri.
Stearns' original cell phone had been seized by detectives the previous day. That phone contained photos and videos of Stearns sexually molesting Madeline, according to what investigators told the 13-year-old's mother in a nearby room.
So we have these images, and unfortunately, over the last maybe 2 or 3 years, he's been doing oral sex, vaginal sex, and things like that.
What makes you guys?
We have photos.
Now, let me tell you. Now, let me just say this right here so I can get it off my chest. If some police officer sat across from me while my daughter is missing and telling me that we have information that he has done what they just said, that they have proof, that we have photos, we have his phone. We were able to get into his phone. Okay, saying this stuff, and all she has to come up with is what makes you guys think that, like, just so nonchalantly. Dude, I would have you would have heard chair flying, jump up, scream. What are you? What? I don't even know the kind of bad words that would have been coming out of my mouth. And then, you know, anger, all of the stuff that you feel when you're grieving, anger, denial, sadness, not denial on his part, denial, not my baby, please, not my child, that type of denial, not the denial that she showed, in my opinion. Not him, not Steph. Oh, he would never. The denial would have been, not my daughter. Please don't say my daughter. That type of denial. You know what I'm saying? This right here is not a normal, in my opinion, reaction from a mother that's just finding out this information when her daughter is missing. That is some weird, this is a weird conversation to me.
We have his phone. We were able to get into his phone. Did you ever suspect anything like this? No? You okay?
Exactly.
How are you feeling right now? Is this a surprise?
Is there photos of her?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to believe that this is true. Can I see some of that evidence?
I would be absolutely beside myself, unconsolable, freaking out. Let me at him. You don't have to worry about a justice system. I'll take care of that SOB myself. You know what? That's the kind of words that would have been coming out of my mouth. You know what I'm saying?
As Stearns was taking a nap nearby, detectives
He's over here
described the
napping.
graphic images to Soto.
I literally thought I was coming here for the press conference, but this is not what we're here for.
I know. And it's unfortunate that, you know, these are the details that we found.
I believe you when you talk to me about those images.
Mm-hmm.
Those images might be real, or they've happened, but I don't believe they're related to this case.
Oh, lady. Wow. I could never be a detective or a police officer because this right here, I would lose my job. No, 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 no.
It's possible that his story might be true and somebody else could have taken her. Like, I'm just thinking, like, what if we're focusing, like, okay, the sex things happened, right? But what if that's completely a side thing and not having to do with this, like her missing?
Ma'am, it's not a side thing. She is not a side chick. He has sexually assaulted your daughter. You crazy man. Oh my God.
At Soto's request, detectives agreed to let her see one of the photos allegedly recovered from Stearns' cell phone of Madeline being abused. Stearns' face could not be seen in the.
Because why did they show it to her? Come on, news. Let's put it out there like it was. Because she wanted proof. She didn't believe it. She thought the police were making it up. In my opinion, from my 50 plus years on walking on this earth, I truly do not believe officers of the law would say, this is what we have, this is what has happened, and they would lie to you about something like that. I don't believe that they would. I would have to trust the police I would trust the police officers on something like that. She wanted proof. I would never, ever, never, ever, never in my entire life would want to see one freaking blur of something that horrific being done to my child. That would be a nightmare. That would be horrific for a mother to ask to see it. Because, well, what if I don't know if you're telling me the truth? Oh my, that they wouldn't lie about something like that.
Image.
Is he being placed under arrest because of those pictures?
Yeah, we haven't made that determination yet.
So what do you think should happen to Stefan?
I'm afraid to say press charges, but what else?
Well, I would say cut off his wee and never mind.
Side of me that wants to say he's innocent, that this isn't happened, but who else?
Do you guys hear what she just said? Part of me wants to believe that he's innocent. No. Let's go back. I'm afraid to say press charges, but what else? I could think of a few freaking things to do to this SOB. I could think of a few choice words to do to the SOB that they have images of sexually assaulting your daughter. What is wrong with you, ma'am? Now, people are like, well, she may be under the influence of medications. I don't care. I don't care. It's still not a normal reaction, in my opinion. I'm not trying to tell anyone how to feel, but in my opinion, from my point of view, this is not normal.
There's a side of me that wants to say he's innocent, that this isn't happened, but who else's penis could that be? She's not left alone with anyone else.
And why would they be on his phone?
Yeah, why would they be on his phone exactly?
You're sitting here like, yeah, why would it be on? Like you're going through in my opinion, it's like going through the motions. Like I got to better answer it right.
Can I make one decision now and change my mind later? If I decide not to press charges now, could I change my mind and press charges
we're
later?
pressing charges. If I decide not to press charges now, could I change my mind and press charges later? Wow.
It's a lot to digest.
It's not really. It is a lot to digest to know that happened to your daughter, but the press charges or not the press charges is not a lot to digest. Is he still breathing? Then something's wrong. Now I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve court and due process. I'm speaking from a mother's point of view. Okay, a mother's point of view. Like, nah, he don't need to see I'll handle that motherfucker. Excuse my French. I will handle you, sir. Okay, piece of shit.
How you doing, sir? That's okay.
Come in.
I didn't mean to wake you up.
Investigators do not believe Stearns got much sleep before this interview. Early that same morning, detectives say Stearns was caught on
Architect, I hope to see you back and get you some sleep.
Camera making a mysterious 6-hour drive from the Orlando area to his parents' home in Northport. While there, authorities believe he logged into his family's Wi-Fi and unsuccessfully tried to destroy the sexually explicit images from his Google account.
You have the right to remain silent.
After being read his Miranda rights, Stearns described driving Madeline to school 2 days earlier.
She didn't say anything. She was just asleep. She was just reclined in the chair, sleeping.
Okay, explain to me, like reclining backwards?
Just laying back in the chair. Like that, I guess.
Detectives say photos captured by traffic cameras appear to show Madeline dead in the passenger seat of the car as Stearns drove around the Kissimmee area in the opposite direction of Madeline's school.
Do you have any idea where she may be?
No.
None whatsoever.
Detectives then questioned Stearns about his cell phone.
What do you think was on the phone?
Text messages. Email.
And other stuff. What other stuff? Cough it up. Why are you acting like, oh, poor little me. Oh, I'm a victim. Look at me. They have me in here. I think those officers, those two gentlemen there, probably want to just do really bad stuff to this guy.
What stuff?
Pictures?
Oh, yeah.
What kind of pictures were on there?
Trading card pictures, lightsaber pictures, Disney pictures.
So do you want to add to the list of pictures?
No. Should I be talking with a lawyer right now?
After Stearns requested an attorney, detectives arrested him on charges of capital sexual battery and possession of child pornography.
And if you could put your hands out like this.
Well, I know that she has immunity, but not full immunity. So in my opinion, she can still be brought up on charges. But I am not in law. I do not know how the law works. Okay, I try to avoid having to go to the court for myself on all costs. I try to do the right thing out here, right? So I don't really know, but I don't know, but I think that they have the opportunity in the future to bring charges against her. She doesn't have full immunity.
Crime scene investigators photographed Stearns.
If you could open your mouth.
And they collected a DNA sample.
If you could take off your shirt.
Investigators seized Stearns' clothing, which he had been wearing since Madeline's disappearance.
Don't do anything squirrely, man. You will eat the carpet. Do you understand?
They also took pictures of Stearns naked, so the images could be compared to the sexually explicit photos allegedly found on his phone. 2 days after Stearns was taken into custody, authorities found Madeline's body. A grand jury later indicted Stearns for first-degree murder.
Hello, you have a call at no expense to you from
Stephen Stearns,
inmate at
Osceola County Corrections Department.
While in jail, Stearns called his mom and dad.
Were you expecting these charges? No. No, you didn't. Okay, so you got blindsided by that. Obviously, it's not true. I never would have wanted her gone for any reason, so, premeditated first degree is kind of a bunch.
Stearns' father asked about the night Madeline was last seen alive.
It was shaping up to be a great week and a great visit. There's no reason for anything to happen that happened. We're at a loss for understanding how all this came about. I mean, we're just totally baffled. Well, I didn't start it. Oh, you didn't start it, but you participated in it, which is just as bad as not starting it.
After Stephen Stearns was escorted.
Well, for me, I have a problem with his parentals, because I've listened to the audio of the phone calls from the jail, the emails from the jail, and they're supporting him. I cannot say that I would do the same. Okay? If my son would do half of an ounce of what this POS did to get on there and financially take care of him, to be at his beck and call, basically, and to find out the proof is there. 35,000 images of CSAM. I'm sorry. Lord, please forgive me. But I'd have to go to some intense therapy to even have a conversation. And that might be really bad to say, but in my point of view, that is just being the devil himself, in my opinion, what he's done.
Out of this door here at the sheriff's office in handcuffs, Jennifer Soto was allowed to leave out a side door and spent the night with family. But investigators were clearly suspicious of the mother and dragged her back in for questioning 2 more times.
But you have not shown me one bit that you prioritize her over him. And that sucks.
I agree.
That's next on Justice for Madeline.
With all kinds of people still.
Jennifer Soto arrives at the Orange County Sheriff's Office for another round of questioning, 4 days after her daughter Madeline vanished, and 2 days after her boyfriend, Stephen Stearns, was arrested for sexually molesting the teen.
You want me to go through the whole thing?
Yeah, we'll start with Sunday. Take you through Sunday.
Okay.
By that point, Jennifer Soto had been questioned by detectives at least 7 separate times. Her story remained mostly the same each time she told it, but detectives say they noted several inconsistencies as they sought justice for Madeline.
White Crocs.
White Crocs.
Either blue or black pants.
I think black shorts.
Black shorts.
Yeah.
Black shorts.
On the night Soto reported her daughter missing, the mother wrote out this statement for police. It says around 8 a.m., she saw Madeline getting ready for school. Soto swore the statement was true, but in later police interviews, Soto said she never actually saw her daughter that morning.
I was handed this form, and I'm like, where do I start? What do I write? And somebody said, tell them what you saw. And so I started with, I saw. And then I wrote out what I wrote out. But it wasn't until later I was like, wait, I didn't see her. I assumed that I saw her.
No, you don't assume. So let me make sure if you guys can hear me. Okay, I turned it up. I just don't want to blow anybody's eardrums out because this thing can get so loud. Oh, what I was saying was, Taylor, that I could not support my child don't mean I don't love them, but they are out of my life for a sickening crime. Exactly. And God would have to work on me through and through to even have a conversation. A lot of therapy would have to be done. I could not financially support him while he was incarcerated for doing such a heinous crime. Heinous crimes, more than one. Okay. And that's the problem. I can't do it. And I don't know. But they cater to him, in my opinion.
I assumed that I heard her, but I didn't.
Soto now insists she last saw Madeline the prior evening as the 13-year-old went upstairs to sleep in the same bedroom with Stearns.
So the living situation with them, I'll be honest, seems weird. It's weird to me.
Detectives questioned Soto about how she, Madeline, and Stearns would occasionally sleep in the same bed together.
Did you ever wake up and find them cuddling? Did you ever wake up and find them closer than you thought they should be?
They would snuggle, yeah.
Okay.
But we all snuggle. I didn't think that was that problem.
Okay. So they would snuggle. Sometimes him being in his boxers. You would wake up and she'd be in the nook of his arm, or essentially in a cuddling position. And you never found that weird.
Yeah, you never found that weird?
Okay.
Soto told investigators she originally did not feel comfortable with Madeline spending the night alone with Stearns.
I had a rule. She wasn't allowed to sleep in his bedroom at all.
But over time,
you did. You didn't find waking up in the middle of the night and he's cuddling your daughter. That is weird. That's not normal. I'm sorry, it's just not normal. I don't give a flying rat's patootie. What? No, I could have never in my wildest imagination see my husband cuddling my daughter. First of all, I'd be like, what the hell's wrong with you? And she would come right in and be like, something wrong with your husband. All right. And then if he would ever try something like that, I would immediately escort him out of my home and for him never to come back. I don't care. Freaking freaky weird. No, don't ever cuddle my daughter. Don't ever. You can hug her. Having a bad day, give her a hug. I love you, kid. But there is a right and wrong way to love your children or someone else's kids. You know. Oh Lord, have see this shit gets me worked up, honey. Okay, like no, that's not normal, Jen Soto, in my opinion.
Soto says that rule went away.
And
Yeah, we know it did, bitch.
No. I'm not comfortable with that. But eventually, at some point, like we really want to watch. I forgot what movie it was. They really wanted to watch something, and I was really tired.
No, you're gonna do that shit tomorrow. Is what's gonna happen. We're gonna watch TV tomorrow.
Go ahead, but this can't happen often. And yeah, I allowed her to go upstairs and sleep with him.
During a police interview the previous day, Soto made reference to a famous filmmaker who is married to the daughter of his former girlfriend.
I've always told him that my biggest fear is that this would turn into a Woody Allen situation where
oh my God,
the stepdaughter or the dad grooms the child and the child then turns 18 and ends up running away with him. I told him like that was my biggest fear and I don't ever want that happening. Like you can't do that to me. Like
why would you say that to him?
Right, I want to know that.
Because I never trusted. I grew up being told never trust a man.
A few days earlier, detectives let Soto see a photograph that reportedly showed
So that's why I have a problem with what she's saying there. If you have a problem trusting someone, like she is explaining there, then why on God's green earth would you allow your daughter to sleep upstairs in a bed with a man that is not her father? All right, that's in and out of your life, that there is relationship issues between you and him. All right, why would you do that? So to me, I call bullshit. I call bullshit because that is not the way you're thinking, ma'am, in my opinion. I don't believe it.
Stearns sexually abusing her daughter on the teen's bed.
When you guys showed me the picture of her, I believed the sexual stuff, but I didn't want to believe that he had done anything evil to her. I'm like, no,
That's evil.
What if he did this stuff fine? But what if she's still missing out there? What if somebody took her?
What you just said is the sex stuff is fine.
It's not fine.
Hold on.
After seeing
Yeah, you kind of did, ma'am. You said it's not evil. It is evil. You, in my, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that. Don't say that.
the explicit photo, Soto says she told Stearns' father to hire an attorney for Stearns.
Sure
So
did.
he showed you photos of Stephen raping.
No.
The first thought you had is to ask his father if he should get a lawyer.
Yes.
Yes, she
He's
did.
done this to her, and that's not okay. But I swore she was still, I felt in my body she was still alive. She was still out there. I told Chris to get him a lawyer because I felt like you guys were chasing the wrong person. But you weren't. You're not.
We showed you a picture. Whether she wants to do it or not, that is not consensual. And you
It's not
prioritized
consensual,
him
Jen
again.
Soto.
You prioritized him by offering him or telling his dad to get him a lawyer. Not what the f did he do? Not, hey, we need to figure out what happened. No, let's protect Stefan.
I wasn't shocked.
No, that's not shock. That is your natural instinct to protect Stefan.
It is.
I don't care about him. I want him to go to jail. I want the worst thing possible to happen to him in jail. I know what happens to predators in jail. Like, I'm ready for that. Like, please. I don't give a f about him. I'm not protecting him.
Detectives repeatedly asked Soto where Madeline's body might be hidden.
If I knew anything, I promise you, I would tell you. Like, I am willing to take a lie detector test, whatever the f you want, but I don't know anything. He's never mentioned anything. I've never seen any signs. I tried watching her like a hawk. I thought I was doing a good job, but I wasn't.
And how can we believe some of the stuff
Ma'am,
that you're
you
telling
let
us, or
this
believe
man
that you don't
sleep.
know?
Oh my God. You let this man sleep in the same bed. You let him cuddle your daughter in the bed with you. If I woke up with some man cuddling my daughter, I'd be like, what in the hell is going on around here? Get out. You can't even get dressed before you get out. Because what do we know? What do we know? What does he sleep in, guys? What does he sleep in when he goes to bed? Butt naked. I dare you. You will not make it up out of my house alive. Let me catch you. Let me catch you. No, honey. No.
I don't know how to say it. I mean, I guess I'm stupid and gullible and very trustworthy, but I didn't think he'd be the type to do anything like this.
During this nearly 3-hour interrogation, Soto provided no details that would help authorities locate Madeline.
People get found. Sometimes it's quick, sometimes it's not quick. I'm hoping this situation is today, tomorrow, Sunday, but we will find.
Right?
Just 45 minutes or so after detectives escorted Soto out of the sheriff's office, deputies in Osceola County found Madeline's body. But even though the missing teen had finally been located, investigators still had questions for her mom. During one final interview at the state attorney's office the following month, Jennifer Soto was given a form of immunity whereby nothing she said could be used against her. The mother insisted she knew nothing about how her daughter died. Jennifer Soto has not been charged with any crimes. Stay with News 6 and clickorlando.com as prosecutors seek justice for Madeline.
So as we know, what's happening is it's going to be coming July very quickly here. And it's going to be interesting to see how it goes down. I'm really praying that I'll still be here if I make it to bed, right? I am very curious to see how the judge is going to rule on this. And there is a lot of people that are wanting to know why, Jennifer Soto has no charges in the Madeline Soto case. I'm going to share this to our playlist here for Maddie Soto because there was something that I wanted to show you guys, but this is from Duty Ron. But I want to share with you the latest information that was put out the latter part of last week um, with Maddie Soto. And then we'll listen to what Duty Ron has to say. Go back. And Grisla is on this with, Vinnie Politan. Like Vinnie or not, he's still covering this case. And I do watch it because I find it interesting. This is not my content. This is Vinnie Politan's content. I will drop the link in the chat here. Give me 1 second.
During 13-year-old Madeline Soto, Stearns faces a gauntlet of charges that expose a horrifying portrait of abuse, manipulation, and betrayal. Prosecutors allege he groomed Madeline for years, living in her home, sharing her space, and slowly eroding every boundary of safety. The evidence is shocking. Surveillance footage, digital footprints, discarded belongings, and most chilling of all, the lifeless body of Madeline found strangled and abandoned. As the courtroom prepares for testimony, the public demands justice for a child stolen too soon. Witnesses will recount moments of missed warnings.
Grizzly has done some really good videos. I watch her for all of my Maddie Soto updates, honestly, to be honest with you. Some people say that she has a history. I don't know what it is. Who the hell, what I'm finding out, who the hell don't have a history on YouTube, for the love of God? But if, like I always say, if they're sharing something that I like, I enjoy her content. I like the way she puts it together. And also, I've been following the Maddie Soto case since she was missing. So I'm going to continue on going where the heck I want to go. Everybody feel free to go where you want to go on YouTube. Thank you. That's my public service announcement for the day.
Red flags ignored, and a mother, Jen Soto, who may have allowed darkness too close. The trial promises to be emotionally charged, exposing uncomfortable truths about trust and denial. Stearns will stand not just as a defendant, but as the face of a monstrous violation that shook a community to its core.
Stephen Stearns facing 2 trials, one for the murder of Madeline Soto. That's scheduled right now for the fall. We'll see if that happens. But coming up next month is the trial involving the alleged sexual abuse and the photographs and videos of Madeline Soto being abused. Evidence that was found and recovered from Stephen Stearns, according to prosecutors, from Stephen Stearns' phone and his Google Drive. Now, in the build-up to this first trial, for all those images and the nature of what was taking place in those videos and pictures on Stephen Stearns' phone, there was a pretrial hearing. The defense, Stephen Stearns, trying to get that evidence suppressed, trying to keep it away.
Oh, I'm sure that they are trying to get it suppressed, because why in the world would you want all that information out there whenever you're trying to say that you're not guilty of something? And you would be a bigger man and maybe get some remorse from Jesus, because you ain't gonna get no remorse with me, you POS. But Jesus may deal with you a little differently if you confess what you've done. I'm not gonna guarantee you nothing, though. And it wouldn't take away what you've done. I'll tell you that right now. But in my book, Mr. Stephen Stearns, you need to confess with everything you got about what you've done. And you take accountability for that. Now, that's a man. You ain't a man. You're a punk.
From the jury in the trial. Take a listen to some of the arguments.
During your contact with law enforcement, did they see or take an item from you? Yes, they did. What item was that? That would be my cell phone. You know what cell phone it was?
Oh, crap. It stopped showing it. Oh, I forgot to get the link. Sorry. This one. Oh, my goodness. Where'd you go, Vin? Where'd you go, Uncle Vinny? Where'd you go, Uncle Vinny? What the heck? I hit some button on here somehow. Oh, we can go back to our history. It's all right. We'll play it. Lord have mercy. There it is. Okay. Let me share it. Cancel. Share. There we go. Sorry. Sorry, guys, for the hold up. All right.
He always knew he was a 24. And what was your understanding as to what they were going to do with it? They were just going to check my Google Maps and check to see if I was logged into Google. And that was it. That was all I agreed to.
Did you have the opportunity to see what law enforcement was doing on your cell phone?
No, as a constable was still talking to me, Taggart walked away and began searching those things in the access.
Isn't it true that she actually handed your phone back to you?
Briefly, when she told me to input my PIN because it locked itself.
Who entered the passcode into the phone? Stefan.
So it's very interesting how they decide this, and I'm on the same page as these people. He entered his own passcode. If he did not want them to look into his phone or get information out of his phone, he didn't have to enter the code. Oh, he could have said like he did the other time, I don't remember, I don't recall, my mind's went a blank. You know, those are his favorite words out of his mouth. He didn't have to. He could have said, now I'm going to have to get you a search warrant. But see, he thought that he deleted all of that information off of his phone, so he didn't have a problem with it. He only had a problem with it when he was caught. And that, in my opinion, is how Stephen Stern lives his life. He didn't have a problem with anything until he was caught or called out on something, you know.
Does the defendant ever communicate to you any limitations on what it is that you're doing?
He
does not. Does the defendant ever attempt either verbally,
Yeah, he thought he was smart.
physically, or in any type of way to
Absolutely,
cease
Angel.
the search of the phone?
I agree with that 100%. If my kids or a loved one came up missing, I would say, here, I would offer them my phone. Take my phone to see if there's anything that I've missed, maybe through their communication or anything that will help you find my missing person. Okay. Instead, they're keeping their phones close to their chest. They're keeping their phones like, no, you can't see you want my phone? You don't. And they wouldn't even let the police officer in their house. That's what I found very odd too. For me, if the police are out night and day looking for my missing loved one, I'm going to invite them into my home. They had like a whole block up at their front door. Ain't coming in here. I would have offered that, please come in. Let's sit down. You know, you want a drink because you're helping me find my child. Thank you. What's new? How can I help you? You know what I'm saying? But no, they had like a whole damn roadblock up at their front door.
He does not.
At that point, it was just to check whether he was logged into his Google, right?
Correct.
Not going through the entirety of his phone.
Correct.
You never asked him, can I go through the entirety of your phone?
He was standing next to me while I was on his phone.
Okay, so it's your basis that he has to say no, you can just keep digging until he says stop?
Correct.
Now, they're talking about the images on his phone. I'm going to put up a piece of the affidavit that describes the images on his phone. I'll read it. I'm not going to read every word, so you need to read along with me to really understand what we are talking about here. Let's take a look at that affidavit. Upon reviewing the contents of Stefan's phone, several images and videos were located which depicted the missing juvenile with her breasts, her lower private parts, and other parts below the belt as the focal point of the pictures and videos. You can read the words, folks. There were also pictures and videos depicting the missing juveniles.
I'll try to read it, but I'm not going to read the hard words. Okay, guys? I will read it for you. It is there. It is visible. You can see it. I'll read around the words. And it says, upon reviewing the contents of Stefan's phone, several images and videos were located which depicted the missing juvenile with her private parts, other private parts, as the focal point of the picture videos. There were also pictures and videos of the missing juvenile's private area, along with her mouth, with his private area. As such, the files depict the sexual of a child. They have probable cause to believe Stefan was in possession of material with the child performing sexual acts. I tried to do the best I could with that. Hopefully, it wasn't too bad. Sorry. But yeah, we have to read it. This case is going to be real and raw. Okay? We're going to have to talk about the hard things. And she didn't get to shy away from it. So we have to stand boldly for her. She's not here to do it. You did this, Stephen Stearns. It's not a secret. Only thing that is a secret is when it's not brought to light. We're bringing your dirty little effing secrets to light, you filthy dirtbag. Okay? We're bringing your dirty secrets to effing light, you filth bag. Okay? And if they show the video of you butt naked in the police officer's room, we're showing that too. All right? Because this is what happens. This is what happened to this little girl. And she needs people to stand beside her and exploit him like he exploited her. It is not disrespectful, in my opinion, to show exactly what has happened to this young lady, because it needs to be said. It needs to be seen. So people will have the right information and why they're going for a death penalty case, and he needs to be prosecuted to the full extent. I'm sure that people are going to be like, well, I wouldn't talk about that case because you're re-victimizing her. No, I'm standing beside her and I'm going to help her get her story out. He violated her since 8. He killed her so he could cover up the crimes that he did. I won't back down to you, Stearns, or anyone else that says I'm re-victimizing her. This is not maliciously done towards her at all. I'm going to stand up for her, beside her, and in front of her if I would have to. Period. And if anyone doesn't like it, well, go piss up a tree.
Lower region and mouth being penetrated by a male organ. As such, the files depict the sexual performance of a child. Your client has probable cause to believe Stephen was in possession of the material depicting the sexual performance of a child. And the allegations are that the performance is with Stephen Stearns. Now, let me put this up on the screen, because this trial is just around the corner. The sex charges trial.
He has here on the 14th. It's actually the 15th. So the judge gave himself an extra day.
Is July 14th right now. Murder charges scheduled for September 22nd. But this whole hearing about whether or not the jury gets to see the evidence that was found on his Google Drive and his phone that we just described to you is for the trial on July 14th. And that brings us to the first question in our investigation, one that everyone is wondering. Why hasn't there been a decision on the suppressing digital evidence? The trial is going to happen very, very soon. No decision yet on all this. Here to help us answer that question, Gisela Kay, creator and host of Grizzly True Crime on YouTube, which is amazing, has broken news on this for years now on this case. Gisela, great to see you tonight. Give us a better idea of how this happened. How was it that investigators were able to get into Stephen Stearns' phone? At what point of the investigation? Give us a little more background in all that.
Okay, so Stephen Stearns, of course, was, upfront with trying to help law enforcement to find missing Madeline Soto. He and Jen Soto, his ex-girlfriend, reported her missing. So there he was, showing the police where he dropped off at school, but they already had
this body of Madeline found strangled and abandoned.
I went too far.
Was, upfront with trying to help law enforcement to find missing.
I don't understand. When I go to trial, I'm not sure what your question is, Taylor. I'm sorry, hon.
Madeline Soto. He and Jen Soto, his ex-girlfriend, reported her missing. So there he was, showing the police where he dropped off at school, but they already had surveillance footage. So they knew he was lying. So they needed to look at his phone because they wanted to know what's on his maps. Where was this guy? When they looked at his phone, they noticed, damn, there's no information on here. What happened? And he said, I factory reset my phone. And he actually did it twice. So that obviously raised a lot of red flags. And so along the way, they asked consistently for the PIN code to his phone. They asked for consent to search his phone, in my opinion, every step of the way. Because I've also looked at this long and hard. Like, did they get consent? Sure, a search warrant up front could have been cool, better, but they did get consent. And he never withdrew his consent. So that's how they came to actually look at the phone, do the forensic download, but then it connected, because he thought he got it factory reset, so he'll be fine. It connected to his Google Cloud account and just repopulated all the child SA material, the pictures of Madeline Soto that they're now accusing him of, the 60 charges of CSAM. So that's not what they were expecting. They were looking for a missing child. They weren't looking for CSAM.
I'm not really sure when Kohlberg goes to trial. I'm thinking it's coming up, but I'm not 100% sure. I've been keeping my eye really close on this case, one, because I followed it from, the missing, because I was here. I was like, well, maybe if they have a search party, I'll go help look for her, because I'm not that far from Orlando. Couple hours, I guess. It's not that far. I'd go look for a missing kid if they needed help. Absolutely. And I don't know a lot that's been going on with the Idaho 4, because there's a lot of people that have covered it, and there's a lot of speculation and all that. So not that I'm not interested, and not that I don't believe that those young people deserve justice. They absolutely do. They absolutely do. But I have been keeping up on the Idaho 4 case as much as I have this case. And I see this on my local news a lot too. And that's honestly, I don't see the Idaho 4 information on my local news here. So that's also kind of kept my interest.
They weren't looking and thinking this is a homicide case at that point.
Amazing. And from my perspective, the credibility of police here, like, is he actually consenting to all this?
Yes.
Well, there's a reason why he would consent to it, because he believed that the phone had been accidentally reset. So there's no information at all. It's like buying your iPhone over at the Apple store. You get it, and there's nothing on it. What Stearns didn't realize is that all this stuff, as you mentioned, repopulated. So to me, that makes sense. But this is the whole case for the first trial, right? This is whoever wins this likely wins the trial, wins this decision by the judge about whether or not the information comes in, because the genesis of the charges here is what was found on the phone, correct?
Correct. So I think that's why the judge hasn't made a decision yet, even though, it's getting close to the time when he said his own deadline for when he'll make a written decision. But I think he's really very cautiously weighing everything, because it's really very serious, of course. It's a death penalty case. It's a lot of very serious charges. And I think the defense has a point that he obviously needs to look at. I really hope he rules in the favor of the state, and obviously that this evidence won't get thrown out. In the meantime, the judge has bought himself one extra day. The trial's actually been reset to July 15th. So there's one more small delay, just one more day later for now. We write the dates in pencil, of course, because it could change at any time.
Absolutely. And my perspective of all this is that, listen, this decision on this suppression motion is the case, because it's almost, I don't think there is a real defense after that. If this evidence comes in, it's almost impossible to defend, because it's his phone.
And that's my point of view. It's going to be absolutely impossible for them to defend this. Whenever this, and I truly believe God has his way of doing things. And I believe that this is going to be brought into as evidence, in my opinion. And how can you defend it? How can you defend it? And how would an attorney actually feel? Okay, I couldn't be an attorney, because if you're guilty for something like this, I'll be like, oh, hell no, I cannot do it. No, sir, no, I'll quit my job. Okay, no, ain't happening. There's no way to defend it.
It's Madeline, it's him. The images are what they are. They can be pretty easily identified. If the evidence does not come in, I don't know where prosecutors go. I don't think they can prosecute the case. So it's kind of an all or nothing situation. Absolutely. Okay,
exactly.
let's do this. Gisela's going to stay with us. We've got more to get to here, including did Stephen Stearns confess to killing Madeline?
So I'm going to turn this on mute till he comes back and let it play so we can get caught up. How many of you guys think that he's confessed?
Stalking to me
was hunting them. Forget about motive. We don't even have a connection.
This trial will be on Court TV.
And I pray that we have justice.
The Idaho College student murders trial. Live coverage begins this August.
Oh, there we go. There's our answer. August. There's our answer. August. I think he did. I think he did. I think he did in the poem.
Only on Court TV.
She passed away. I suffered a catastrophic mental breakdown at that point. I don't know if you know that.
Now, this is some of the phone calls. If you guys, Grizzly's easy to find, I think you guys know how to find her. But the phone calls are very interesting. And this is part of the phone call that he had. And listen to his words. I have it on regular so we can listen. Oh, no, I don't. I'm lying. I'm lying. I'm a filthy liar. Okay, let me turn it down so we can listen very closely.
No, I did not.
And I was literally out of my when I was first booked in.
Even have a connection.
This trial will be on Court TV.
And I pray that we have justice.
The Idaho College student murders trial. Live coverage begins this August. Only on Court TV.
She passed away. I suffered a catastrophic mental breakdown at that point. I don't know if you know that.
No, I did not.
And I was literally out of my mind when I was first booked into jail. I was hallucinating. I was hearing things and seeing.
All I hear is victim, victim. I'm a victim. I'm such a victim. I'm such a victim. Forget about all the images that they said they have found on my phone. I'm such a victim. I'm such a victim. Boy, if you don't go somewhere and sit down.
Things very badly.
That's a jail call. Stephen Stearns speaking with his parents. Now, in this case, kind of unusual. We have a lot of instances of Stephen Stearns speaking and being recorded, whether it's on a phone call, in an interrogation, or a TV interview. So he has spoken a lot about this. He is on record, whether it's telling his story or talking about himself. Let's take a listen.
What do you think was on the phone?
Text messages. Emails. All the stuff.
Pictures?
Oh, yeah.
What kind of pictures were on there? Here's where I'm going to be brutally honest with you. There's your phone. And I'm pretty sure you know what some of those pictures are about.
Just that, they say that sometimes when you like children, that you have been an abused child, and it was intimated that perhaps we had abused you in some way.
No, he has never did. And strictly speaking, I'm not actually into younger people like that.
Actually, yeah, you were, in my opinion. From what the police say that's on that phone, yeah, you were. On the hard drive, yeah, you were. Quit lying. See, you're a filthy liar, in my opinion, allegedly.
As you know, I don't even like most kids, so it's just hard to feel a generalized attraction towards any of them. I wish I had done the correct thing to
Listen
begin
here,
with.
you freak. In my opinion, it wasn't a generalized attraction, you knucklehead. Oh, my God. I could... She passed away. No, you did this. Yes, Angel, right? I mean, come on. I mean, this guy here, the nerve of him to be like, well, I don't generally like children. We can tell, you freaking freako. Because you don't do that type of shit to children. For it to even be a thought in your brain, something is severely wrong with your damn head. Oh. See, that's what I was asking. I was going to try and do both, but now I may be able to do both and not go crazy, right? Yeah, I'm only going to be doing the first one with Maddie. I don't know if I'll be doing the one for his murmur trial. I don't know. The first one, that's a lot, because I do live a little over 2 hours away, and every day going back and forth can get kind of pricey. So, I got to work it out with the husband. I gotta blame it. I'm blaming my husband.
I wish I'd run downstairs and shaken her awake and called 911 and all that. And deserved well, I wish you had too. I wish you had too. Maybe she could have been saved, but she was beyond that. Okay.
So my question to you, why didn't you call 911? If you just happened to walk in and bought a, this is what you're seeing, why didn't you didn't go down and tell the mama? And then where's the story about you taking her to school? That's a lot. So, dude, you are 100% telling on yourself, in my opinion. The damn state is going to have a field day with you, and I'm going to be there to see it.
When someone's that ice cold and just gone. She was in a different part of the house? Yeah. She wasn't with you?
So ask him, Mom and Dad. With my kid, I'd be like, so why did you say that she got up for school, going to McDonald's, not going to McDonald's? I dropped her off. Now that we know that you've lied, what else have you lied about, sonny boy?
Well, she had gone to be with me earlier in the night, but I left her alone for quite a while.
Day, right?
That's troubling.
Very troubling.
That's troubling. What is he saying there?
He said he done something, in my opinion, from my observation of this video. I'm thinking, you know what he's saying, Uncle Vin, come on.
Like it's too late. I wish I had done something. That brings me to the next question in our investigation. Did Stephen Stearns confess to killing Madeline right there? Is that an admission? Here to help us in our investigation, still with us, Gisela Kay, and joining us, former prosecutor Margaret McLean. She's also the host of It's a Crime with Margaret McLean. Margaret, thanks so much.
I looked up her channel, that Margaret Kay. I was like, ready about like, oh, but she has a very large channel and we can learn some stuff from her. Very small channel. I was very shocked. I'm like, okay. I mean, maybe she's new. I don't know, but I got to keep an eye on that channel because you know how some people blow up on YouTube and some people don't. So she has like maybe 400 subscribers. I was like, damn. I'm not shaming nobody, but she's like a bigwig over here. She's running with Vinny. I'm like, you better shout your girl out more than once, baby.
Ask you, does that sound like an incriminating confession, an admission? That statement by Stephen.
We all started with 0. So I'm not talking shit about her, but I was assuming that it would be a fairly large channel with some experts there. And that's what I was looking for.
Stearns.
I think it does. And I think a jury will think it's a confession as well, or some sort of admission. My God, the case is so troubling as it is that jurors will look at him and say, oh my God, you're a sick person. You killed her. And you're talking about her being too cold and far gone by then. I think this guy is, hopefully if the evidence against him isn't suppressed, which I don't think it will be, I think this guy is cooked in front of a jury.
Yes, I agree.
Gisela, your thoughts about those statements? Those were some of the most shocking that you uncovered. What are your thoughts? What was your reaction?
I think those statements are highly incriminating, but there's also a little letter that he wrote in jail, a poem to Maddie in July of 2024, saying, as I held you in my arms, my heart died with you.
So I'm over here telling fibs. Is this her right here? Hang on, share this. Is this the same lady? Did it look like the same lady? Mama Bear, is this the same lady? Now, this lady here has like 234,000 subscribers, but it doesn't look like the same lady. That's not the same lady up there. Oh, that's not her. Yeah, I was like, wait a second, that's not her. Let me go back over here to Vin. That's not her. Yeah, okay. That's what I was thinking.
So that's a written confession. Then there's all these jail calls. I'm so glad he's talking to his parents. There's jail emails between his parents. This guy's confessing left and right. So honestly, I can't wait for the trial and for the jury to hear all that, because I think it will make the case pretty simple.
How about that, Mark?
If you can, someone slide over to Taylor's, drop hers to. Oh shit! No, it's okay. If you would drop Taylor's channel, she goes over some older crime stuff today. Whenever I was over there, it's very interesting. So if you would drop her channel in there, I'd appreciate it.
Great. The addition of not just the statements, but writing a poem. I mean, that is all stuff that can be used against you, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And a poem, the fact, I wish I was there with you. It's just.
I'm speaking about the lady on the right hand side of the screen. Yeah, it should be the right hand side of your guys' screen too. She has a channel, and I looked her up, and she wasn't. Well, I thought she would be more advanced than what it is. That's just my opinion. I'm just talking shit about the blonde lady.
It's going to make the jury just like, their stomachs are going to turn with this guy.
Yeah.
The confessions to his parents, and I'm glad they're there too. But my God, I hate to say it like this, but based on the totality of all the evidence, it looks like it's going to be a very strong case for the prosecution. They don't like child sex offenders anyway. So I wouldn't be surprised if this guy gets the death penalty.
Death penalty.
We're in Florida. We're in Central Florida. They don't like folks like this.
No, absolutely. I agree with you. No, death penalty, death penalty, death penalty.
Covered trials down there before. Let me ask you, Gizzo, does he have some sort of a alternative story that somehow explains him being with her ice cold?
Oh, girl, look at there.
Is there any story that he has told that sort of fills in?
Everybody take a moment of silence. CLK actually dropped her first link, I think, ever in the chat. Thank you, CLK, because I'll tell you why. Because she's about to start up, and she wanted us to go over there and help her. We're going to treat her chat just like she treats us. You want me to do what? You want me to mod? Oh, I thought I was over here to talk shit. See how she's doing this, Mama Bear? Uh-huh. She over here ready to work. Nah. She wants her 401k back. She wants...
The blanks?
Really? I mean, he sort of alluded to it and saying he left her there and then he found her like that. So he was alluding to, a stranger.
Either.
Beyond that, he's just confessed so many times, layer over layer, that I just think it wipes out any possibility. So even if one were to explore that, like if the jury thought, well, that's interesting, what if it was someone else? Because there were other roommates, there were other people on that floor. No, I think the evidence is too strong, and he said too much. He has literally dug his own grave.
So, Margaret, we've got two trials, right? The first trial is all about the information on his Google Drive and on his phone. Mm-hmm. Judge has to make a decision about whether or not it comes in. Presuming it comes in, what does that first trial look like in light of all this other evidence?
Guilty.
It looks like a guilty. I mean, with all that evidence, oh my gosh, I'd say the jury will come back within 5 minutes, in my opinion, after reviewing all of those text messages. And it's going to, as I said, again, the only chance, in my opinion, that the defense has in this case is to hope that the judge will side with them and to suppress this evidence. But based on my understanding of Florida law and...
See, here is her channel. I can share it. No, she's gotten some more, but she only has 694 subscribers, and I was expecting something a little more than that. So she's doing what the rest of us doing over here, playing other people's shit. Okay, so no one can talk shit because the lawyer's doing it too. Okay, the lawyer is doing it too, honey. Look at her, just sharing everybody's stuff. I ain't talking shit on her, but I'm like, I expected to see a little bit more subscribers than that. Then you better shout your girl out. If I ever went on Vinnie Politan, which I have no intentions on ever doing, or that's not my heart's desire, but you better give me a little bit better than that there, bub. That's all I'm saying. Okay, I'm done picking on the beautiful lady. She's a pretty girl.
Fourth Amendment search and seizure. I do believe that there were exigent circumstances and probable cause in this case for the warrantless search of the phone and the seizure.
Yeah, and the exigent circumstances are a child is missing. You are the last person known to be with the child. You've told us something that isn't true. We need to follow up on all this. What does the trial itself look like? I mean, the videos aren't going to be put up on a screen. Like the jury has to see the images, though, right, Margaret? The jury has to see the images in order to prove the sex abuse.
Absolutely. I think that, the jury should be allowed to see that evidence. Unfortunately, it's very disturbing, and there will be an extensive voir dire that will go on in the case. It could take many days, but ultimately, the jurors are going to have to view some very disturbing images of this sweet young 13-year-old girl. Well, it had been going on for a while, so. But that's part of the prosecution's case. Unfortunately, you have to present evidence that will be disturbing in some of these cases. I used to be involved in prosecuting child sex offenders years ago, and my God, it's part of the case that you have to present.
Yeah, and it's tough for jurors, but they've got to see the evidence. The evidence, as disturbing as it is, we don't want the public seeing it, but the 12 in the box absolutely have to. Gisela, as we look at this.
Now that's fucking sipping, CLK. Okay, look at CLK down there. She goes, I hope you get on, Vinny. Would you give me a shout out? Let me tell you what, I'm bringing one of them damn wreaths with me, bitch. Okay. I'm bringing one of them with me. I'll be like, oh, by the way, this is what I can't say hi to my friends. I got to make sure I shout out my friend's wreath business. She's out here doing God's work. See, I have no desire to go on Vinny Valentine. I'm not a reporter or a journalist. I'm just an old lady that likes true crime, okay? I'll be like, hang on, hold the boat. I have to do my commercial for CLK. Yeah, CLK Creation and Design. She's on TikTok and YouTube. Everybody buy your wreaths from American made, American. Everything's American. CLK. And she snorts when she laughs, so go check her out. That's exactly what I'm going to say too, CLK. You think if I ever would get on the news or anything, I promise you I will. I promise. And I'll be like, now that's a simp.
This man, Stephen Stearns, and we look at the relationship here. And as Margaret said, it wasn't just when she was 13. This goes back years and years.
Yeah, this goes back to when Maddie was about 8 years old, just based on the evidence that they found on the phone. Right. He's also got a USB drive that's not even part of the case with 35,000 other CSAM images. So I don't even know how far back that goes. That would be interesting as well. So I think is a very, very...
Yeah, so if that flash drive isn't part of this case and it doesn't have any pictures of Maddie, who is on there? And is the state gonna prosecute him for that too? They should. He should be prosecuted for every single image he's ever had.
Sick man child who always is the victim. He thinks it's always about him. He feels sorry for himself at all times. I'm sure he's going to feel sorry for himself at his own trials as well.
Well, I want to thank both of you. Gisela K, make sure you check out Grizzly True Crime on YouTube and check out the It's a Crime with Margaret McLean podcast as well. We'll see you again both really, really soon.
So that's where he stops with that. So now I already clipped it, ladies, so you don't have to. Duty Ron, we're going to see what Duty Ron has to say. Why they haven't prosecuted Jen Soto. I wonder if they are bought and sold off the net and they are using that. Oh, Angel, that's a good point. That's a good point. They very well could be. That's a good point. Could be. Mm-hmm. They're doing that. They're like, I think Kimmy was in here saying that they had a big bust here. I did not see it on the news. Like the last 15 days to me have been kind of rocky because of my dog. So I think I've watched things, but I haven't. Okay, that stuff's been on, but I haven't really paid attention, just to be honest with you guys, because I've been trying to spend the time with my dog. Okay, so I don't really know, but she said there was a big bust here in Florida, and that might be being used as well. We don't know, but that would be great if it was. I don't know that to be a fact. I don't know. But this is Duty Ron. I dropped his link in the chat. So if anyone would like to go, don't know about Duty Ron, please do yourself a favor and go over there and check him out. Some people like him, some people don't. I like him. There's that. So, all right, let's get in here.
Initial police interview and breaking news as of today, reported by Shannon Butler of a local affiliate, that the local police have stated through her sources that Jennifer Soto will not be charged with a crime. That has sent shockwaves through the true crime community, and rightfully so. But I'm here to tell you that as a retired police detective and worked many cases and built many cases, I've built many cases over my time in 20 years. And I have two great guests that are going to come on and talk about this. Sometimes you go with your case file and you go with your evidence to the district attorney and they tell you, you don't have enough, we need more. This doesn't mean that it's a done deal, that Jennifer Soto will never be charged with anything as it pertains to her daughter, Madeline Soto. We know that she was sexually assaulted for arguably 7 years, documented on Stephen Stern's cellular devices and his external drives and devices. And we know from Jennifer Soto's own admission that she sanctioned this stuff. And we're all shocked and outraged by that. We are just mad as hell, and we're not going to take it anymore. So this is not the end all for Jennifer Soto. She does not get a free pass, ladies and gentlemen. What we see on the surface is not anywhere near what they have behind the scenes, because she's not only been interviewed once, she's been interviewed twice, and she may have been interviewed a third and a fourth time. We do not know, because we don't have access to the case file. But let's take a listen to this little piece, and then I'll have my two great guests. I'm going to first start off with retired NYPD first grade detective Timmy Acosta. He worked in the NYPD in the major case unit. He worked the major cases, and he's also a polygraph and body language expert. He is a polygraph expert. He's watched Jennifer Soto and Stephen Stern's interviews. He's up to date on this case. And as a matter of fact, the reason we have Ed Wallace is because of Tim. And I know he hates when I do that, but that's a fact. That's the fact, Jack. So thanks to Timmy Acosta, who's going to be joining us live here to talk about Jennifer Soto. The reason we have Ed Wallace is because of Timmy. Here's the story.
We've been following this major case of little Madeline Soto now since the beginning, since she was reported missing in Orange County in late February. Good afternoon. I'm Darlene Jones.
And I'm Greg Ormond. This is a look at the 13-year-old girl's picture. And investigators ultimately found her dead in St. Cloud. This was back in early March. Police arrested.
And our bed alone. So it just really depends on what's going on that night with our schedules.
So the little pause there was Stephen and Maddie goes to the bed alone. They just redacted her name because she's a minor, and that's what the news has to do. Here on YouTube with our channels, we don't have to redact that, but the news is required to do that.
What we're doing.
Want to hear the
times in making with the NYPD and various units. Retired a long time ago. I've been retired.
You have a keen eye for detecting deception, detecting when someone's not telling the truth. And that's one of the primary reasons why 15 minutes ago I reached out to you, because when we look at Jennifer Soto's, when Madeline Soto's mom, Jennifer Soto here, she reeks deception. I mean, all of the interviews that we've seen, there's two of them with the news outlets, and all of her statements, they're all not correct. She makes mistakes, and she continually fumbles over what she's telling the investigators. And there was no urgency. We've interviewed arguably thousands of complainants. And when we have missing person cases, most of the time you can barely get the parents to calm down, to tell you what we need to know, what we need to learn. Both Stephen Stearns and Jennifer Soto did not have any urgency in finding Maddie. They just didn't seem to give two flying shits.
They were just like, okay, whatever.
So, I watched several of the interviews, and, I have to tell you, they looked very, very rehearsed to me. She was very, very calm. I've dealt with parents that are missing children. They are not calm. Okay. She was very, very calm, which is very unusual. One of the things is, when she mentioned the time, who comes up with a time 10:18? I mean, you say around 10 o'clock, around 10:30. She came up with a very specific time, 10:18. To me, it just appears that could have been very well rehearsed, and they had come to an agreement exactly of what they were going to say, so that they're both on the same page as much as possible. I think she kind of fell apart a little bit, and that's why the story kept changing. And, detectives being detectives, they probably kept pushing her and kept twisting it a little bit, and she was forgetting what she was saying. And it's just normal, good interrogation or interview practice for an investigator to get those different stories and get them to kind of twist a little bit. Because you know what, Ron? what's one thing that is always true? The truth is always the same. Okay, it's the lie that's always going to change, because people who are lying forget what they said. They're making it up as they go along, or they've rehearsed what they want to put out there that has happened. So it's not the truth. They're changing it as they go, because the truth is always going to be the same.
Yeah.
And the story would always be the same if she was telling the truth.
Amen to that, brother. And here is my notes, just one page of inconsistencies as it pertains to interview number 1 that we heard on Grizzly True Crime. And shout out to the Grizzlies and Gazella, doing a great job of bringing these interviews. She's got 1 and 2, interview number 1 and interview number 2. I just want to give her channel a shout out here, because she's provided the true crime community and all of us who are invested in this with the data. And she uploaded it. She's going to be on Court TV with Vinny. So kudos to the Grizzlies and that community over there. I've always been a fan of her work. And I remember when she first started out, and I used to see her riding her bicycle on Instagram going live. And now she's 330,000 or 320 something thousand strong. So kudos to that Grizzly community over there. They're doing fantastic.
What the heck?
Your thoughts on the news report that I just played, where...
Why is there 2 of me? I don't know what happened. What the heck? The StreamYard is going crazy. Where even am I? Where even am I? We can't hear Duty Ron. Okay, let me stop the screen here. I have no idea what just happened.
If you listen to what
Here it is.
the reporter said, like, it was something along the lines of,
Can you guys
there's
see it
nothing
now?
that Jen said, that the mother said so far to the police that would lead them to charge her. It doesn't mean I think it's just, almost like a tease to get people to watch it, because listen, if you could play that end part again, just like the last couple of seconds, Ron.
I
I
definitely will. I'll go to that. I just wanted to, as we're here, because I'm gonna have to click off of this. Here's 4 of the charges that potentially could be charged to, because people always ask, Duty Ron, what could Jennifer Soto be charged with? Child abuse, which is a 3rd-degree felony, and I'll highlight it. A crime that could give her 5 years in imprisonment and a $5,000 fine. Child neglect without aggravating factors. And here there are aggravating factors, because...
Right. I believe that child abuse, child neglect with, in my opinion, aggravating.
Her daughter was not only sexually assaulted and abused, she was murdered.
Yeah.
So there are aggravating factors. That's another 3rd-degree felony. Child neglect where great bodily harm is inflicted. That applies to Madeline Soto, ladies and gentlemen. That's a 2nd-degree felony, punishable by 15 years in prison. And if this child neglect with great bodily harm has multiple charges to it, as we heard with Stephen Stearns, I have all his charges written down here, 60 and 8, and all these different charges that Stephen Stearns is charged with. She helped to facilitate that. Child abuse with great bodily harm, a 1st-degree felony in the state of Florida, punishable by 30 years in prison. This is what we're looking at, and this is what the potentiality could be for Jennifer Soto, but they need to have concrete evidence. You can't just go based on a hunch. Tim, you want to talk about that while I queue up what you want me to play?
Sure. So, I mean, absolutely, they need hard evidence. One of the things that prosecutors to do is they want a rock solid case. So they're not going to charge somebody until they have all of their ducks lined up in a row, and that they know that they can bring a case that they will more than likely guarantee that they win. Of course, there's never a guarantee they're going to win it, but they want a case that's so rock solid that they're going to get that win, and they're going to wait until they get everything that they need. They can wait till the very end.
Right.
There's no statute of limitations with murder. They can wait as long as they need just to get everything, together so that they can bring these charges. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes. We don't know what other evidence that they have that they're not telling the public, that they're not telling the news media. They could be working out a deal with this child's mother in order to make that rock solid case against, Stefan.
Do we even want to call her a mother, Timmy?
Well, it's terrible. But again, she is that child's mother, and she's responsible for that child. And if they're proving that this guy's been molesting this child since she was 7 years old, she is culpable. She is responsible for that child. She neglected that child, and she should be charged. I don't believe that they're not going to charge her. I just don't believe that would happen.
I don't believe it. I'm with you, brother, 100%. And we got to bring Jay in now. I'm going to play this. You wanted it towards the end of the clip, right?
Right at the end, yeah.
So many parts of that interview. Important here, the entire part. He changed that.
My opinion, I think they will put her on the stand. I don't know how useful she will be. She'll look like a blubbering idiot, in my opinion, but I think that they will.
Tire near the same location where Madeline's body was found. Now, Greg, something important here, that it doesn't mean she'll never be charged. If investigators find something else that would warrant charges, they would do that. But at least right now, this is where we stand.
That's what you wanted, right? Was that it, or do you want?
Yeah, there was something. There was nothing she has said at this point. This reporter says there's nothing she said at this point in these interviews or something along those lines where she can be charged.
Let's listen.
Should have been to school. She should have made it.
Jen's answers were hard to come by sometimes, and she told investigators she'd taken medicine and was a little spacey. But nothing in this interview or any of the other evidence we received has given detectives a reason to charge her.
Right. That part right
something
there.
else, Jens?
So that's it right there. Listen, again, folks, as Tim said, and I highlighted, the news is there to report and to make things sound good for advertising, but for the audience, so they get their clicks and views. It's about sensationalism. I'm not saying that she's a great reporter. She's been reporting on this case fantastic. I'm not dogging them, but I'm just saying with this report, this sent everybody who's invested in this, and this is a worldwide case. This is covered worldwide. We have people from all over the globe watching this for justice for Madeline Soto. They just sent everybody. Just some people were just like, I can't watch this. I am so depressed. So that's what I don't like about it.
You know what, Ron? I got to tell you, because everybody is so pissed off, what is it causing, right? I bet you the phones are blowing up in this police department that you've had a coverage show. What are you waiting for? Right. So it's almost like they're kind of like pushing him to the edge where bring charges, okay, and do it now. They may not be ready to bring the charges, but as soon as they are, they will. I guarantee you they will.
Brother, you took the words right out of my mouth, because that was the next thing I was going to say. The switchboard over at the Kissimmee Police Department and Chief Betty Holland is probably getting a ton of calls from people all over the globe. Like, what in God's name are you talking about? You're not going to charge this one? So you and I are so in tune. But without further ado, Jay from Guilty of Crime, she's been covering this case from day one. She's interviewed roommates. She has the 411 as it pertains.
Yeah, Guilty of Crime 2 has interviewed the roommates. I don't know if you guys know who she is. Angel said she's watching here from the UK. So yeah, it's a known case. So people want to know why haven't charges been dropped, but I think Jay's coming up here. She is, and I watched the interview that she did with the roommates, and it was very interesting.
He says she puts in her chat all day, every day, #arrest Jennifer Soto. I want to just add her in, and I'm honored that she's here with us. And thank you for joining, Jay. How are you?
Thank you, Ron. Doing well. I'm really happy to hear this. I just reported on this about the breaking news, and to hear Tim's perspective and yours about the news and the specificities of nothing has come to these interviews to our attention right now is the key in this. As everything we're seeing the information that she neglected her child heavily, and there's lots of abuse going on, and she said the same story over and over with Stephen Stearns, who is going to be convicted hopefully one day of murder and sexual assault. So there, that made my day. Thank you.
Yeah. You know, it's funny that you said that, Jay, because their stories kind of mimic each other. And Tim said it good, you know, like these are rehearsed stories.
Yeah.
They either make it up as they go
I
along.
would have to agree. It sounds like they mimic each other, they practice it and all that. So, in my opinion, they're mimicking each other. And they also feed off of each other, right? They agree. Yeah, that's what she did. Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, don't you remember that? So they play with each other, you know. I am way behind on this case. Thank you for bringing this. No problem. Liplock, I'm going to be going to the court case. It's in Orlando. I'm a couple hours away, so I'll be going and bringing my viewpoint of what happened in the court if I can get in. If I can't get in, then I won't, but I will be standing outside because I would like to come across people that are involved. And I have some hard questions. I mean, I don't know if I would ever, I don't think I'm a nobody out here. You know what I'm saying? But if I would come across somebody, say the Stearns' parents, I have questions for them. Now, they probably won't answer to give me time of day, but I'm going to try, right? I'm going to try because, you know, Jen even said she heard her in the kitchen that morning. Right, Angel? She said she heard her in the kitchen that morning. And now Stearns is on the phone with the parents saying, you know, she was so cold, this, that, and the other. She never went to the kitchen that morning. She never got ready for school. That was a lie. That was a lie, lie, lie. She wasn't able to, put it that way.
They have time to sit and get their ducks in order. And what happened is those two got together, and you even heard the same thing because I listened to thank you to Plunder. I got all of the audio recordings and interviews with not only Jennifer Soto, Stephen Stearns, but I got their parents too. I have the audio from inside the garage where the father tells the detectives, get this out of my house. And his father Chris, talks so badly about his own son and talks about his son having brain damage, being run over by a car at a young age, and him and his friend were hit by. So there's so much that I've been able to listen to as it pertains to these stories. But Stephen Stearns, and the reason I brought up the parent.
And I'm sorry, but in my opinion, this is just and I'm not a psychologist. I'm not anyone that's qualified to give an official statement. But in my opinion, from my observation, he was able to hold a job. He was able to function in society, drive a vehicle. He knows that you're not to mess with children. Oh, so no, the little brain damage shit ain't flying with me. Okay, no. You know not to mess with children.
He told the same bullshit to them, and then they regurgitated it to the police. But when the father regurgitated it to the police, he said a couple of things. I think my son's full of shit. I don't think my son's telling the truth. I couldn't get him to work. I had to kick him out of bed to go to work. The father was giving him work, and he wasn't even getting up to go to work. So there's some interesting interviews that'll be coming down the pipeline, and I'm sure Grizzly and Plunder and all of the true crime, yourself, Jay, will be hearing that. There's a lot.
I have to agree with that. Something's definitely wrong with him. Absolutely. But not in the manner of getting him off of what he's done to Madeline Soto. No, sir. No, sirree, Bob. Ain't happening. Nope.
A lot more to hear, but that all to me is hogwash, because what's most important is this woman right here, Jennifer Soto, and her bullshit and the stories that she tells. And I am not, there's a poll. We have a poll up. Do you feel that Jennifer Soto will be arrested? Yes or no? And then the third choice is, are the police building their case?
I think
and that's where I stand. And that's where I say, yes, the police probably went to the district attorney's office and said, this is what we got against Jennifer Soto. This is what we want to charge. And the DA probably said to him, we need more. Timmy, I know you could talk about this all day and every day. How frustrating it was for you in major case when you had these cases and the DA said, we need just a little bit more to get those top charges. You got to go out and kick it, knock on some doors, gumshoe detective work.
Very, very routine. They want more. The more they have, the more, secure that case is. So, they're gonna do everything they can. I still think that at some point they may be using her to charge him. I don't know. I don't know what kind of psychological test they've done on her to see if she's even capable of being charged. I mean, there's so many factors that come into play, Ron.
Yeah.
We really don't know. We really don't know.
But like I know you haven't delved into this case the way I have and the way Jay has and others. It's not even fair for you because I just put this on you 20 minutes ago. But as far as Jennifer Soto and Vinnie Politan touched on this tonight on his private Vinnie Politan channel, not on the Court TV branded channel. He said that he feels like they are, what you said, trying to work out a deal to get her to testify. They have a mountain of evidence against Stephen Stearns.
In my opinion, they don't need her to testify. This is a slight if those if that phone is brought into evidence, there's no reason for her to testify.
They don't need her to testify, in my opinion. What they need is to go after her and find her culpable and find her responsible for this child neglect, for failure to safeguard. You have a responsibility as a parent to make sure your child is safe within her home. And she failed to do that because she took a predator and gave him the green light to take her daughter by the hand and walk her to bedroom number 4 and sleep with her.
Absolutely, she did.
Who does that? And I asked the chat, thank you to the chat. How many of you guys are on board with what I'm saying here? Who does?
Duty Ron, I have to agree with you wholeheartedly with that. I really do, because it's no. Taylor said, and more, to be honest, I think I have been purposely avoiding keeping up with Madeline's case because it's extremely triggering to me. And the momster, she infuriates the crap out of me too, Lip Block. She infuriates the crap out of me too. Oh, Lord have mercy. Oh, Jesus. And the mom, if she happens, which she probably have a private entrance, but if the news crew gets to ask the questions, I'm going to be right there and we're going to video it so we can talk about it, right? I have a few questions for her too, and I wouldn't be aggressive. I just want to have a simple conversation with you. Maybe have a cup of tea, have some coffee, and say, the red flags weren't there for you. He sleeps butt naked and he's cuddling your daughter in your bed. You don't see a problem with that, ma'am? No, seriously. I was like, it's a serious question. Help me get in your head and understand why you thought that was okay. That was just normal. Knowing that your relationship is not the best relationship, and then you send your daughter up to sleep with your on and off again boyfriend. That's not a healthy relationship, in my opinion. That you should not do that. Children do not sleep with no. Oh, Lord Jesus, help me. And for her interview, she suspect what was happening to her daughter, yet she had him in the home and gave her daughter to him. I agree. I mean, I'm probably not the best person to probably cover it and not be biased about it, but I'm not going to be able to do fair and be like, well, let's keep an open mind, everybody. And we don't know exactly what Jen Soto knew. There was red flags everywhere. Everywhere. Everywhere, in my opinion. Ooh, baby.
Does that as a good parent? None of us can say, and I don't even care if you're not a parent, none of us would feel right about saying that or doing that. And this is not even her father, Timmy, Jay. This is a complete outsider. And I don't know if Madeline Soto was attached to Stephen Stearns. We don't know. We can speculate. We can get a feeling that she was, but I have a feeling that at 13, she said, I'm mad as hell and I'm not taking it anymore. And I'm going to expose this scumbag. And she probably told him that. And this is my opinion. I don't know what you guys think about this. She probably told him, your gig is up. I'm done with you raping me and taking advantage of me and my life. I'm telling the police on you. And he said, no, you're not. I'm going to kill you.
You're done. Right. I have to agree with the there. She makes me so angry that I keep typing, and baby, I do that all the time in people's chat. If I'm in there, I type it and then I delete it. I type it, then I delete it. I get it. What did she say? Something about it. It's not going to be like Woody Allen. I could be wrong. Right? She knew what was going on, in my opinion. Not maybe into detail. I'll give her that. But I will at least say this, that I think, in my opinion, there were red flags there. And if there's one red flag, it's time to investigate. She already said she didn't trust people. She wouldn't let her spend the night with anybody. She wouldn't let her have a friend and go and spend the night with friends because of this type of a situation. So what do? You let a naked man cuddle your daughter in your bed. I'm sorry. I don't give a damn what type of medications you take every day for yourself, but you still have to have the ability to think what's right and wrong for your child. And if not, that's neglect, in my opinion. In my opinion. That's just not some, oh, oopsie doopsie. That's huge in my book, in my opinion. That's too much. No, that's too much. Oh my goodness, that's too much for me. Woo, baby. Well, we're going to keep doing this till the next 13, 14 days, going over it. I'm going to reach out to Grizzly because she spent a lot of money on those transcripts, and I would like to go over the phone calls that she received between Stephen Stearns and his parents and some of the emails. I want to reach out to her and ask permission to use them. Hopefully, she'll get back to me and gives me permission. If she don't, okay, I know that I can use it without it underneath, the copyright stuff. But I always like to do that because one, she paid a lot of money for it, and it would be kind to do, you know. Um, and that's just the way I think it would be nice to do. Um, and then we can go over that and we'll find some more information just to keep this momentum going until we have the court. It's just for justice for Maddie. I don't know if I did it, but the monetization will not be on when I go to court because I don't feel it right to do that. Because I'm truly going as someone standing beside, in front, behind Madeline Soto to get her justice. So if there's any question on that, there's that. So we'll get with anyone that would like to contribute to the journey, get with me privately and we'll work something out. But I just really don't want to run a Cash App, PayPal, or this or that. Okay. I just don't feel comfortable doing that. I just don't. Okay. And that's that. I miss that lip walk. That is common with abused children. Their parents don't allow them to stay with friends. Oh, wow. Yeah. I didn't think of it like that. Like if they know or something. Maddie was probably having night terrors, which was very common with childhood abuse. Oh, that's so sad. Like I feel so bad for her and that no one was in her life to pick up on the red flags, and it makes me very sad for her. And that ever since she was little, she didn't know what it was like to be a normal child because she had some freaking predator. Talk about a monster under your bed. How about a monster in your bed, in my opinion? You know what I mean? How horrible of way to live. So sad. So sad for her. And I hopefully that she does get justice. I hope the court system works as the court system should. And he's prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, in my opinion. Yes, there's a Grizzly True Crimes Madeline Soto playlist. I will try to reach out to her to get permission before I use her content that she has paid for because I know it was very expensive and I don't want to start. Believe me, I don't want to start no problems with nobody. We don't need no drama over here. This is a drama-free zone, honey. Okay, we only cause drama with Bullhorn Betty. Everybody else, they can do whatever they want, right? Have fun doing it. Just don't bring it over here. Oh my goodness. But anyway, so I told you guys that I would share the story with my dog, and I couldn't talk about it the other day because it was just too heartbreaking for me to share. All right. So I couldn't do it, but I can share it with you now. So as some people know, I know that I've spoke with my moderators about it, and my dog had been struggling for quite a few months, just not acting right, behavioral issues, had her checked out. Well, she was, diagnosed with some dementia and she's always been an aggressive dog. I rescued her from a bait house, basically. She was being trained to be a bait dog. And I rescued her, brought her home, and I've had her ever since, and she's almost 12 years old. So she's always been pretty aggressive. always been on a leash, wasn't ever trusted to be off one because she has a tendency to bite. So she's always, I took her out and ran her a lot. And to get her energy, she was not, she bit me once in a while, but not often. She was very aggressive with my husband because he's the one that had to put the leash on her. So I put him in positions that he would get bit, like to bathe her. And it was for no given reason or rhyme why she would do it. So my husband was really her pincushion. Okay. So the last couple months, she'd gotten even more aggressive and acting just really weird. So we had her examined, and the vet's like, well, she has dementia. And now that she's bitten again, we have to put it on the record because she's very, very aggressive. And we suggest you putting her down because it's going to get worse with the dementia she has. And she would hide under the bed. She'd hide behind the couch. She would not play with any of her. She has some babies that she's had all her life, and she never played with them. She wouldn't play. Very seldom I could get her to play with them here in the last, I don't know, 8, 9 months. So the vet's like, you need to make a decision what you want to do, and if she would ever be done again, there could be some trouble for you. I said okay. So I thought about it, and our choice was to have her euthanized in the vet or have her euthanized at our home. The vet is a lot cheaper, uh, but I know how of afraid she was of going to the vet. She didn't like the vet. All right. And I didn't want our last journey together because she was with me all the time. It was my dog. That she didn't like no one else. She only liked me. So I was like, I'm not gonna take her to the vet to have her, euthanized because she doesn't like the vet. So I talked with my husband and he's like, yeah, we can do it right here. So we had the vet come to our home. He came and I had to give her a medication 2 hours before his arrival, and we did. And then she was outside because we and her love to sit outside together on my porch. That's her best thing that she loves to do. And we were sitting there, and he had to give her a lot of medication because of her. He said that happens a lot with a dog that has struggling mentally. They just don't take to the medication like a normal dog that needs to be put down does. So they gave her a horse tranquilizer, and then they gave her, well, I gave her the medication. They gave her horse tranquilizer, then another shot to finally get her to relax. Okay. And and then we got to bring her inside here, and I had candles going, and she loves jazz music because when we travel, we always listen to jazz music, okay? And she loves it. It'll put her right to sleep. So I had her little jazz music going, and I had some candles, and I had an area set on the couch for her, a blanket, a sheet, and a towel for her to lay on. They put her head underneath it and everything. And then she was very sedated, very calm that she's ever been in her entire life. It was the first time that I ever got to pet her on her face. Okay, I've never been able to pet this dog's face ever since she was 4, 5, 6. N- never got to pet her on it. She would not allow you to touch her face, her feet, nothing. So the first time we actually got to love on her like we've always wanted to. Okay. And of course I did. And now she's probably like, leave me alone, lady. But I just had to. Okay. I just had to. And uh, uh, then he told me that what he was going to do next, and he shaved a spot on her little leg, and she didn't feel anything. He reassured me that and that's where she had always sit, guys, right here, the picture of she's looking at me. I took that picture every single day. That's where she sat. Okay. Um, she's looking at me. And I printed that picture yesterday at Walgreens, and another picture that I have, and it made me feel better. So if you go through something like this, immediately go get some pictures of your fur baby, put him in a frame and hang him right where you see him all the time. And it does comfort you. It did me anyway. So, anyways, he shaved her little leg and he said, well, as soon as I give her this IV, she'll be gone within a minute. And I said, okay. He's like, you let me know when you're ready. And so, I loved on her a little bit more. And then, well, he walked out actually after he told me that. And then he said, well, just let me know when you're ready. So then my husband went out when we were ready. And then he came in and he did it. And she passed away very peacefully. It was a very peaceful situation. It was very, the gentleman that was the vet that did it, very, very kind, very considerate. Um, and then they put her in a little basket and we put her little blankets on her and that was it. So it was absolutely very, very wonderful. And I would highly, if anyone has a very close pet and you have the opportunity to have someone come to your home and take care of what needs to be done, I would highly encourage you to do it. Um, it was very, very calm and nice. And she went to heaven. She went over the Rainbow Bridge, and it wasn't anything where other dogs were barking or other people were there. It was private setting. So I had a private funeral for my dog. Okay. Okay, I had a private funeral for my dog, and I'm so happy that I did. But I'm going to tell you the after effects. I couldn't, I came on here and showed you the video or whatever. I couldn't even speak. I was so crying so much I couldn't even speak. All right, today's better. After I got the pictures, it feels like I have something part of me. But the reason why I'm showing you this picture is because you see on the top of her ears that hair, it's curls. She's had those all of her life. Okay. So he said that we'll cut some fur if you would want, and we can keep it here. I said, oh no, hubby, go get me my scissors. And I have dog trimming scissors, and I cut her little earies, her little ear hair right there off on both sides, and they stuck it in a little jar for me. It's a little cute little jar with the little thing on it. So I could keep that. And I got to keep that. And then when they took Mocha, so I got that hair. And but I'm going to tell you this, also the after effects is I didn't realize how loud silence is. Okay. I didn't realize how loud my dog really was. I hear her all through the house. Anytime she walks across the floor, I know when she's coming, I know when she's going. She would talk, like when she was needing something, she would like "Rrr, rrr, 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 rrr," like we're having a conversation, right? She always did. And none of that going on, none of the pitter patter on the floor, none of the whenever it's time to go to bed, she's looking at me like, let's go, lady, and then she'd beat me there. Then she'd sit at the side of the bed and like da 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 da, like, come on, scoot over so I can get in. None of that. So the silence is louder than my dog ever was. It is absolutely deafening, the silences. It's unreal. Like I was talking with my husband tonight, and this is the second time we've ate dinner without Mocha. And I'm like, isn't it? He's like, it's so dinner times are so quiet here now. And I miss her like you would not believe. She was my best friend. Yeah, and if I was talking to Mama Bear on the phone, always interrupting the conversations up in my I'm like, okay, Mocha. She was the boss of this house. She always was. And she she was the boss of me. She told me whenever I was going to go outside. She told me whenever I was going to take a golf cart ride. She told me things in the bath. I've not used the bathroom in 12 years, honey. Okay, by myself. I have not used the bathroom by myself. I thought it was bad when you have little kids. They're always following you to the bathroom when they're little. Oh no, this dog here followed me to the bathroom. So, but she was my sidekick. I took her every single place I went. And she was awful. She damn cute. I mean, this dog is cute, right? But meaner than Spitfire, honey. I'm telling you, this dog was mean. And whenever I'd have her out in public, I've never been able to have her off the leash because she's just not to be trusted. And I know that about her. And I would tell people, please, oh, she's so cute. Look at that little hair. I know. Please do not touch my dog. And it wasn't because I was a snot or a snob, because I want you to keep all of your digits. Okay. And people are like, oh, I'm like, no, she will bite you. I just need to let you do not pet the dog, you know. Oh my goodness. I would always have a crowd myself every time I go, right? So that's the story with my Moki girl. So, yes, I'm doing better. I'm going to tell you what, the last 2 days, I was profusively crying. Just certain times, I just start crying. I just start crying. Just start crying. And I think why I think I love dogs so much is they don't talk back. They don't tell you what they want to eat. They'll eat their dog food and take some treats. They're happy, right? They don't ever talk back. They don't give you a hard time. Take a little bite in here and there. You know what I'm saying? It's all good. But no, I don't know if I'll ever get another dog again. That was my first pet that I didn't have. I had pets on the farm, but it's my only pet that I've had as my own throughout my life. And I don't know if I will ever get another pet again. And because the heartbreak, if they don't outlive me, it's the heartbreak. Like, I don't want to go through that again. Well, yeah, I have Tink. I mean, my husband, I rescued another dog a couple years ago, and he was being very, very much abused in his situation. And we took him home, and he's a completely opposite of my Mocha. He's laid back, sleeps. He's like, all I need is some food and a bed, and I'm good, right? And he doesn't bark, so you guys aren't really going to hear barking very often around here anymore. Like I used to be like, hang on, my dog's barking. But he's really attached himself to my husband, loves him to death. But I think that as a reason behind it is because my Mocha would not let other dogs around me. Like, she wouldn't bite them, she would just hoard them where she wanted them to be. You're like, no, you're not getting up here. No, she would growl. And he would be like, oh, I ain't messing with you, lady. She never bit him. But I think that that's why, and plus my husband's a nice guy. I mean, why wouldn't you like him? But, so he isn't really take the place of my Mocha because different dogs. But he really has attached himself to my husband, and that's my husband's dog. So I don't know if I'm gonna ever um get another dog just to be happy. Just to be honest. I mean, I don't know. We'll have to see. But I do have a soft heart for animals. So if I see one that needs a home, I might. I mean, I'm not gonna close it off and say no, but my husband's like, don't even say that because you're gonna find a little stray, be like, oh my God, we gotta dig her over. Oh, because I have a soft heart for animals. So um and I'm good with animals. I've been born and raised around animals, but I could never break the biting out of the. I trained her. I worked with a trainer, and there was just something not right with her from get go, and that's all right. I didn't want to ever give up on my Mocha because everyone needs someone to love them, and I was her someone until her last breath. I was her someone. Yeah, now I get an opportunity to get to know Tink now, and that'll be nice. And he does come around a little bit, but he didn't eat yesterday, and he's not ate very much today. He has been going around looking for her because he knows where she would used to go, and it was always wherever I'm at. That's where Mocha is. Whatever room I'm at, even if I was sitting in our living room, even if she wasn't beside me, she was this last couple months she'd been behind the couch, and he can go and look. Nope, she's not there. If I'm in the kitchen area at the table or whatever, she's always sitting right beside my chair. If I would be in the bedroom, she would be right in the bed or right under my bed. Like if you step close, oh, you're going to know about it because she'll growl at you. I mean, she was my watchdog, basically. So, you know, but it's all right. He's looking for her. He'll get over it, just like I have to get over it, but it's hard. But I'm going to give you some words of advice. Get the pictures. For some reason, I can look at because I didn't have her to look at, right? And I'm like, I had her on my phone, yeah, but I got the pictures and put them out of my Moki, and it helped because it's not like I can't I can't see her, He's grieving too. My cat was my bunny's best friend, and she had a rough time for months after Lily passed. Oh, how long did it take, Mama Bear? Does it take like a long time? Because I have such a I'm like, I just want to help him now because now he seems kind of sad. He's not eating, you know. And also, it's been kind of rough because we've been having thunderstorms in this area, and he absolutely hates a thunderstorm. Like he hates them. He's scared for his whole life. So a rough time. Oh, for months. Okay, for months after. So I'm just hoping that, he'll come around and it don't devastate him because he's had a rough life. Now that dog has had a rough life. When we got him, he was having a rough life. Mocha, beginning of her life was rough for her till she came with me. And that dog's been all over the world. Okay, all over the United States traveling with me. Just been a little princess, meaner than hell. I cannot lie. My dog was meaner than hell. And I've never told anyone a story. She mean. She meaner than shit. She's cute but mean. Mm, that's funny. Well, guys, that's the story. And so if you ever have to do that to your animal, then that's the way to go. I hope I did. I know that she enjoyed it. She was the boss around here. Now she up there bossing people in heaven. I just got my dad up there. And my first thing my dad's gonna tell her, I'm sure, is your mother paid how much to have that done? Because my dad's a farmer. You know what farmers do. I don't need to say anymore. It only costs 5 cents. If you know, you know, okay? So, but no, 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 not over here. And he'll be like, that's ridiculous. I know it is. But I don't care. Well, I appreciate you guys coming, hanging out with me. If you're bush watching, please hit the freaking like button. All right. Yeah, I know she is. And we'll come back here. I don't know if I'll do them every single night, maybe every other day. We'll just see how the flow goes. Hopefully tomorrow I'm okay too. But yeah, we're gonna just be doing Maddie Soto stuff until the case comes and all that, and maybe check in on Bullhorn Betty once in a blue moon, and because she's over there doing what Bullhorn Betty, just Bullhorn Betty, Jesus. But besides that, I don't really know too much what's going on, and you know, but I appreciate you guys. I do. Um, and I'll see you back on YouTube here, and probably tomorrow, probably or the next day. It's usually every day or every other day. And while you're out here cruising the YouTube streets, make sure you take care of your mental health. Take time for yourself. You are important, and take care of each other when you see each other in chat. Make sure you say hi. And I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.